Hello and welcome to the Sunday Night Social with me, Graham Hughes, and I'm joined tonight by Mike Dix and by Ed Kimberley, and we've got Marina Purkiss coming at about, I think, 8:45. So if you just hear from Marina, you're going to have a little bit of a wait, but that's all right. She's going to pop along. So, anything happened this week? I've been asleep. What's happened? I've just woken up out of a coma. Does anyone explain what's happened to me this week?
Nothing.
Go back to sleep. Honestly, you'll enjoy it more. It'll be better. Yeah.
There's nothing going on. There's no leadership contest. There's no by-election date, is there? There's nothing.
Local councils haven't started melting down. Tommy Robinson isn't running any rallies, and if he is, then he's definitely not accidentally raising money for refugees because people have put one over on him.
Okay,
So
all
that's
good.
fine. Just.
I heard Trump's China trip descended into farce.
Oh, I mean, was it ever going to go well?
Apparently, according to the New York Post, chaos erupted behind the scenes. Chaos, I tell you, chaos.
Can chaos erupt if it's already just the world's in a state of resting chaos?
A White House staffer was trampled by Chinese reporters. A Secret Service agent was kept out of official events, and American journalists were prevented from joining the presidential motorcade. President Xi was given a nice hard cushion to sit on, and Trump was given a really soft cushion, so they looked relatively the same height when they were sitting down. And when Xi went off for a piss or something, or no, he went up to give a talk, Trump leaned over and looked at his notes, which were in Chinese, for fuck's sake. He just looked at with all the cameras on him, and he's just flicking through to see what Xi is going to say.
What good would that do him when he can barely read notes written in English?
And he turned up on a plane with Tim Cook from Apple, or Tim Apple as Trump calls him, and what's his name? Musk, the Nazi, was there, right?
Yeah.
Do you know where Musk was supposed to be? Anyone know where he was supposed to be?
No.
He was supposed to be at a trial that's going on in California where he's trying to sue ChatGPT because when he put money into ChatGPT, it was a non-profit. And then he said, I don't want anything more to do with this. And they went, okay, then. And then Sam Altman, a bit later on, said, okay, we're going to be not for profit. We're going to be a for-profit company. And Elon Musk is now taking exception to this because he was one of the early funders of it. And he's trying to, and it's obviously there's a little bit of a, what's it called, conflict of interest, since he has his own AI firm, XAI, and this is his biggest competition. Anyway, so to give Sam Altman his due, he has been there every day of the court case that he's had to speak, whereas Elon Musk hasn't. He's been repeatedly told off by the judge when he has turned up because he's been such a dick, and he's been on his phone, and the judge has had to say to him, will you put your phone down, please? We're in a court case here. And Musk is like, oh. And it's just like, oh my, and it's for $150 million. It's like nothing for Elon Musk. He doesn't care. He's just trying to take out his competition. But yeah, fascinating week all round. We barely scratched the surface, and that's without mentioning what's going on in Makerfield.
What's going on in Makerfield?
Yeah, nothing's going on in Makerfield. Come on. Nothing's going on in Makerfield.
Did you see Hannah's dad shared that thing about... they went around in the locals saying vote for refuck and get rid of Keir Starmer. Nigel Farage has tweeted, we look forward to the Makerfield by-election. Reform will throw absolutely everything at it. To which a user called Dave Lawrence has replied, does this mean the reform slogan in Makerfield will be vote reform, get Starmer?
A compelling case. Yeah, I mean, also, if we're gonna be sending shots reforms way, it also applies to the Greens. Like, if the Greens do get active in making,
what they're saying they're gonna do,
then are they presumably saying they want more Starmer? And actually, the ultra left party thinks that Starmer should stay because he's left wing enough for them. It sort of like,
or they want to get refuck in and then just trample all over everything that the environmental movement has done over the last 50 years.
Did you see the quote that Burnham has said that there'll be a senior role for Jeremy Corbyn in his government?
No.
Not seen this.
I've gone right off him.
I think, is that... is that a rumor or is that something that's genuinely been said? Because I think there's always this thing that happens when you've got sort of left wing and Labour politics. Like as soon as it starts picking up, there's always chatter that starts, you get around the peripheries. And some of it might be serious. And then some of it you think, I'm pretty sure someone made this up. And it just takes a while.
Maybe it's in the Independent.
Is it? Okay.
Written by Matt Dathan. Labour leadership. Andy Burnham promises Jeremy Corbyn a top job in the front bench team as he warns Labour's future hangs in the balance.
Is that from 2015?
Andy Burnham says he is the only candidate capable of uniting the party.
Check the date.
Yeah. If that's a genuine WhatsApp message, make sure it isn't something that's been left unread. We've all left messages unread for 10 years, You
could easily be right.
It happens. I mean, look, there are times I forget to reply.
There is actually no date on that post, so I'm going to retract what I just said.
Just 10 years ago. It was when he was running against Jeremy Corbyn.
That was before disappearing messages were enabled on WhatsApp.
I've still got the campaign literature for 10 years ago, from when he was running against Corbyn.
Oh, gosh.
Should dig it out. I've got all the Brexit stuff as well, the lies that we were told. We're all going to get golden teeth and fields full of leprechauns and
owls. We were going to get owls.
Everyone was getting an owl, and all the clouds would be made out of marshmallow fluff. Oh, it's going to be great. None of that actually happened.
What, really?
It's as though they were lying to us. Alex is saying Corbyn isn't even a Labour member. Yeah, it'd be a bit difficult that one to square that one off.
I've got a feeling. Hey, it was in another political social group that it was shared, and I think somebody should have done their checking.
Wasn't mine, was it? Are you in another group?
Yeah.
Are you cheating on Graham?
Yeah, he's moonlighting on another group. Bloody, I don't know.
Yeah.
Split up.
Having it away with other groups.
You're just my Sunday boy. What do you?
Oh, that's okay.
Think?
I don't mind being Sunday boy. Aren't I full of grace or something? I don't know. Anyway, so what do you guys think at the moment? Do you think that actually we'll put this up as a poll for everybody? But do you think that Andy Burnham is going to walk this? Do you think it's going to be just dead tight, or do you think he's going to lose?
Okay. Just before we do that, you've had a super chat, £5.
Oh yes,
from Spearlance, £2.50 for Ed's security, £2.50 for Mike's, and sod all for Graham's.
Yeah, I don't need security. I can take care of myself.
Ed, what are you going to do with your security? I'm thinking about buying a caravan in Clacton. I don't know what you're thinking of doing.
Yeah, I feel like if I could get a Holiday Inn room in Clacton, I've got zero chance of encountering Nigel Farage. That sounds like an improvement in my life.
Safest way to avoid Farage. Go to Clacton.
Although I feel like, my residents in Warndon also deserve like as much protection and remove from reform, because you already know about our county council melting down, don't you? You do know that's still happening, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't someone else left today or something? Was there another one this weekend?
You know that Simpsons scene of like 0 days since?
Yes.
It's like,
yeah.
That meme
I've seen that meme today.
That's doing the rounds.
0 days since we lost the councillor. Yeah.
Like they could have been. It took me a minute to realise that wasn't meant for Worcestershire specifically. Yeah. Because it applies here too. And there's still more going apparently. I don't know who the next one is going to be, but I'm told there is a next one. So it's like you know that thing when someone's going to try and update a Wikipedia article and say here's how many councillors each party has. Yeah. And then it's like, I'm pretty sure at this point they just need to put a range of numbers in the report because we're not sure. It's like
the article about Boris Johnson saying how many kids he's got. Nobody knows.
Yeah. And it's like approximately.
He doesn't know. Maggie Pie, thank you very much for the 20 Swedish krona. Just one little anti-Semitism problem with Corbyn. Yes, indeed. So we're not supposed to mention the C word or the B word or the T word, I guess, for Trump. But yes, Graham did put up link. Phil is being used as AI.
What?
Oh, Phil is being used. They're making Phil videos that are like AI Phil Morehouse videos. Yeah, he's not gonna like that. He's not gonna like that.
Who's doing that?
I don't know. Someone evil. Someone doing evil stuff. Oh, do you know what? I've lost me poll. because I set up a super chat, it's obviously messed up with the functionality of this. Oh, there you go. It's back. It's back.
I mean, look, there's only one obvious right answer. Come on, chat.
What? No. So I've put Andy Burnham for Makerfield, question mark. Easy peasy. Tough one, no chance. Tough one's winning at the moment with 69 dudes of the vote. 69%, I mean, not dudes. 71.
69 dudes voting.
Do you know what? Nobody has put no chance so far. So everyone seems to think he's got a chance. It's just got to be either easy peasy or tough. But it's
listen, it's going to depend to an extent on who Reform put up.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And I can't think of any names they can pull out the bag that are going to be, like if Matt Goodwin was their biggest chance at the last by-election, then I'm not entirely sure they've got any big guns waiting to...
Come on. Let's give Matt another go. Come on.
Jeremy Kyle, maybe.
Yeah, I mean...
Tommy. Hey, now there's the thing. What if they rang Tommy Robinson?
That
you'd have to call it. Wouldn't he on the ballot have to call himself Stephen Yaxley Lennon?
That's going to be a problem, isn't it, with name recognition? It's like, I'm going to vote for Tommy. I am.
Who's this Ponce with a double-barreled name?
Oh my God!
Where's Tommy on the ballot paper? Come on!
I'm having a look at this YouTube site of Phil's. It's a bit wacky, guys. It's a bit fucked up.
Somebody just put a link in. Is it somebody creating AI videos of Phil?
Yeah, and it's Phil with a big mic in front of him, covering his mouth. He's got his head to one side, and in behind him, it's got Mr. Phil with 2 L's. Oh my God, it's horrible. It's got him.
Is he a little less argumentative?
It's got Richard J. Murphy in it as well, but they're mostly Phil videos from the last 2 weeks. There's loads of. Oh my God, there's dozens. They've only got like 59 subscribers. They got 59 subscribers. They got 126 videos, and nearly all of Phil. I'm gonna send this to Phil.
It's kind of an honor, isn't it?
I'll put it in the group. Yeah. Well, no, because it's like the stealing, making a doppelganger of you in it. They're stealing your soul. It's like old photographs used to steal your soul. Don't take my photo. I want to keep myself. But yeah, I'm gonna have to share this with Phil. So where were we with tough ones? Do you think it's gonna be a toughie? I think it's gonna be easy peasy. I'm gonna say it. I think it's gonna be easy. I think he's gonna fucking walk it. I think he's gonna win with a 5,000 majority.
I'm gonna split the difference, and I'm gonna say I think chat are absolutely right to say it's a tough one. You should never take a vote for granted, ever in politics, and you should always fight every election knowing that you could lose it. There's no such thing as a safe seat, especially not in our broken first past the post system as it is now, and not when you've got 4 or 5 political parties, all of which have got double-digit voting scores. Like the last time safe seats existed, both the Labour and Conservative Party between them had like 90% of the vote wrapped up between them. That's not the case anymore. So I think chat are absolutely right if they're saying that it's going to be a tough one. It always is in first past the post when you've got this many parties doing this well. I do think Andy should do well, but I think fundamentally it's a good test. If what Andy Burnham is pitching is that he can do better than Starmer at cutting past reform and revitalising Labour's fortunes, winning this by-election would be one heck of a way to prove that he can do that. Conversely, losing it probably sends the signal that it might not be quite that straightforward. So it's kind of put your money where your mouth is territory for Andy.
Are you saying it's time for...
Which is probably a good thing either way, to some extent.
Eurovision.
I think I'm just sort of saying...
For making your mind up.
I don't think we're supposed to talk about Eurovision, are we?
Okay, sorry.
Does anybody else think, if you watched Eurovision last night, that maybe the Eurovision people have realised that they get a lot more eyeballs if Israel only just lose at the last second?
Because everyone's going, and then it goes up and it goes, yes, Bulgaria!
It's the second year on the...
I wanted that song to win.
Second year on the trot that happened.
That Bulgaria song was actually good, though. I mean, I'm not usually someone who watches a lot of Eurovision. I kind of, after it was beginning to close, I started listening to some of the songs, and I listened to the one from Britain, and I thought, I know there are people who think we got robbed, We seriously didn't.
No, it was a shit song.
Seriously,
It was a seriously shit song.
The real problem with that guy is I follow that guy on YouTube. He's a YouTuber, right? And he's got this great channel. He buys like old telephone exchanges and turns them into synthesizers. It's amazing. But I cannot understand why anyone at the BBC thought that was a good guy to choose.
Look, I love them. I love him as an artist, but on the other hand, it's like this song isn't going to perform well for Eurovision. No. It's depressing.
There was also there was an irony that we were singing in German and the Germans were singing in English.
What was it depressing? It was a wonderful song about a man who was bored at his job working on computers, and he wished that if he could only say 1, 2, 3 in a different language, he would be a happy person.
Also,
and then everyone joined in, and he was happy because he could say 1, 2, 3.
But if you think about it,
to the tune
surely,
of
if you're trying to win Eurovision, surely you count to 3 in like 20 languages, basically, including Bulgarian.
That could have been a clever thing. That could have been a clever.
Un contesto in otra lengua.
That could have been a clever gimmick.
Algo con un poco substancia.
That's very good, Edward.
The one thing I'll say about the Moldova
entry,
a
gold star on a jelly baby.
That we certainly knew it was the Moldova entry. That was the best thing about theirs.
Yeah, the song was
Moldova.
They should definitely change the national anthem of Moldova to that song. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Do a little dance routine when they're facing off on the footy pitch. We've got some more super chats coming. We got Maggie Pie with a 20 Swedish krona. Reform have MPs such as Lee Anderson. I doubt them.
That's true. That's true.
And
they
then
are formidable.
Miss Paula Thomas, a £5 super chat. Like I said recently, take a look at the circumstances surrounding 1965 by-election for warning. Leighton by-election. Thank you very much, Miss Paula Thomas. I've spoken to Phil, and he has said, he's aware of it. YouTube are being slower than usual on this one. But it is 126 videos, and nearly all of AI generated of Phil talking into a mic about something. I'm managing to spell it. There's only 4 letters in his name. How can he spell it wrong? Like, seriously. Then again, everyone gets Keir's name wrong. So
I hope he doesn't get it taken down. I'd like to watch that. Hey, what about we ran by-elections like Eurovision? Why don't we do that?
Because then Israel would cheat. Liam, allegedly. Liam, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. I'll be voting Burnham. Yay. Sorry, I did a little...
Yeah, I did. If you put Burnham on with Oasis, right? Reform. What are Reform going to do? Rod Stewart, maybe? Mike Reid and Rod Stewart.
Oh God, did anyone see the concert yesterday? The gig that they did in Parliament Square for the Gam Gams.
Oh.
The Gam Gam Jamboree.
Who played? Who was playing?
Gamboree.
Gamboree.
I don't know, but he couldn't fucking sing, and he sang "You'll Never Walk Alone." And it was just like, if you ever walk down Hanover Street, there's a load of Irish pubs that all do, karaoke, and on a Saturday afternoon, a sunny Saturday, that's what it sounds like walking down the street. It's just full of drunk scousers going,
that and My Way, basically, is like the classics.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. Driving in Luton says, I say this often, but I apologise on behalf of the whole of Luton for Tommy 10 names and the Tate brothers Grimm. It's the lead they want us to. It's the lead. Sorry, they used to use to make hats. Everyone is a bit strange.
Right, mad as a hatter.
Mad as a hatter. Is Luton famous for hats? I thought that was Stockport or somewhere.
I don't know. I'm assuming that there's some local knowledge at play there.
Was it Macclesfield?
If only we had access to all of the world's information.
The Gam Gam Jamboree.
We could find out, couldn't we?
Yes, let's find out. Whose nickname... The reason why I know this was... Whose nickname was Bojangles? That's the first thing that comes up. Whose nickname was Old Hickory? Dutch, the Bird, Satchmo. Anyone? Satchmo?
Satchmo. I know Satchmo. Yeah. I don't know him personally.
Louis Armstrong. Louis Armstrong.
Yeah.
Whose nickname was Hatters?
I'm just looking.
Luton. It is Luton and Stockport. It's both of them. Look at that. It's both of them.
Luton was historically the absolute capital of the British hat making industry in the 17th century.
There you go.
When I Google
Mad as
Luton
hatters.
lead, one of the first results is abnormal exposure to lead and anemia in I think well in children in Luton, and it's like that is not a search result you want.
No.
No, that's
That is
really not
not
good.
what you want.
But yeah, apparently Stockport
there
County
is
and Luton Town, both
actually
known as the Hatters.
there's a very good ITV drama about that exact story, about two women that fought against the pollution in Luton. It's amazing.
So I did a logo for, it would have been Luton or it would have been Stockport. I don't know which one, but it had a hat and it's circled by the EU stars. True story. It was a Mad Hatter's hat with the 10 and 6 on it.
There's a museum in Luton that holds the most complete hat collection in the world, covering 400 years of headwear. Who knew? All the reasons to go to Luton. Think about this.
Well, I thought there was an airport there. That was where you went to leave. You went
football
to escape.
Football team are known as the Hatters, and the town centre still has the Hat District, full of old listed factories and workshops.
Whoa, that's crazy. If I type in Luton for Europe, nothing comes up. Maybe it was the other place. I don't know. Anyway, anything else happened this week? Okay, our friend Angela Rayner's been cleared for wrongdoing by HMRC, which is nice.
Yeah, but she won't be allowed to run for the leadership because she's a woman. That's just not going to happen in the Labour Party.
And she's a northern woman.
I do have to say though, that was a class way to sort of like you know when you see a news headline and you think actually that could have been a WhatsApp message, and it basically read, "Wes, wind your neck in." Just the coincidence of that coming out on that particular day with the headline.
I think she might be playing a slow game. I think. Just 1 second. I've just got to grab some.
I mean, I think there's kind of there's obviously some sort of pre-existing alignment of views between Angela and Burnham, and like if Angela is talking in terms of like supporting Burnham, you can see which way the wind is blowing.
Oh yeah, I hope that happens because I think that'd be a really good team. That'd be a really good team. No, it was Stockport. It was Stockport for Europe. There was the hat that I made. It didn't have the 10 and 6 in it. I think I did a version that had the 10 and 6 in. They told me they'd take it out because they thought it would make it look like everyone was mad or something. But anyway, that was the logo for Stockport for Europe. I don't know if they still use that, but if they do, I did that. Stockport at Stockport for EU. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about
going back to the by-election
again today. So go on.
We weren't talking about that, but the by-election, Ed, you were talking about the progressive vote being split, and that's the thing that kind of worries me. In there, there's been some talk in lots of groups about should we vote Green or should we vote Labour, and I think tactical voting is necessary to stop reform. That's got to be the point.
That's true all over the country, and I think what I would say is this really. I get the impression, and I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks this, if Andy Burnham had been in the previous by-election in Manchester, there's a very good chance that people might have voted Andy at that point. And I think there was an element of swinging in the other direction because specifically people wanted to put a middle finger up at the Labour leadership for not giving him the chance. And, you know, if what you want is a left-wing government and you feel that Labour's not being left-wing enough, that might be why people are doing that. I feel, I think voters can be very canny about sending calculated messages to the government in a sense, and I think that was one of those quite clearly. I think in terms of what happens in Makersfield, I think either the Greens absolutely start romping ahead, and then it sort of splits the vote, all of that. But I guess the question would be why they would do that. If what they want is to steer the government to the left, they've got an option here to do exactly that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why would you?
I saw some really interesting vox pop because I vacillate between the everybody's an intelligent voter and everybody's not. And there was some vox pop in Andy's ward in Makersfield, and it was largely the kind of people that you would expect to say they were going to vote reform that they were interviewing. And the guy stuck the microphone in front of a number of people, one very drunk guy that stepped out of a pub to give his opinion. And it was basically, I'd vote for Andy all the time because I'd have a drink with him.
Yeah.
And the number of times we've heard that about Farage and Johnson and Trump, right? And the fact is that Andy probably would have a drink with you.
Yeah.
That's
there was one guy who was saying he wanted to take him for a drink, not just that he'll go.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to take him to the pub and have a chat.
I love him, and I would take him for a drink.
Maggie Pye, thank you for the 20 Swedish krona. Rod S. Wouldn't reform have Engelbert Humperdinck? Engelbert Humperdinck is long dead, isn't he? He's pushing up the Davies. Davies? The Daisies. Well, I suppose if he was under the sea, he might be pushing up the
Davy Jones locker.
But I think he has joined the choir invisible.
Now, I'm just thinking back to the Labour conference a couple of years ago where Andy Burnham had his new book that was out at that point, and he was doing signed copies. I got a signed copy of his book twice, one for myself, one for my CLP. I suspect the resale value on things like that. I think the raffle value, the auction value of that copy of the book has probably gone up.
Get your photo out,
Mike. I was going to say, I don't know if I've shared it at all enough.
What? You haven't shared it enough. Well, our group has automatic disappearing messages. Just like the Telegram groups for the Pentagon. So it might not still be there, Mike. I might have to send it again.
I'm hedging. I have a photo with Andy Burnham, and I also have a signed copy of Wes Streeting's book. So I use it to prop this tape. I use it to prop the table up.
Look at you showing off. I don't know. I've got a picture of Keir Starmer. Do I win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no.
I think
actually, I
put that in now while you can.
I put the picture of me and Burnham on Facebook, and somebody that I used to work with many years ago posted a picture saying, "I've got one." I posted, like, typical wanky joke, but the next Prime Minister of Britain, and I think the guy next to him is called Andy Burnham, and then somebody responded to it saying, "I've got one of those," and it was a picture of him with Nigel Farage.
Oh God.
And I'm
God.
Oh fuck!
Oh no!
Why are we Facebook friends? That was my biggest question.
What is even happening here? Yeah, that's not good. I'm looking for your picture here with your man. Oh, there it is. I've got it. I've got it. No, I've got it. I can send it. I just had to scroll back a lot. There were a lot of messages last night. You see, we were talking about there should be a Eurovision Asia, and then there was. It was funny because we were having that conversation when the advert for Eurovision Asia came on the telly.
So I don't know anything about Eurovision Asia yet. Are Australia going to be part of it? No. Who's in this thing?
So it is most of the Southeast Asian countries. So Thailand is going to be in it. Malaysia.
Sorry, but Korea's going to win this. So
South Korea is in it.
K-pop's going to be dominant.
Don't know if Japan is. Might be. I don't know if they're trying to get them in. Bhutan is going to be in it, which is going to be fucking brilliant. I just like some Bhutanese couple come on and just play a song together from the Bhutanese instruments. I don't know. Could be magical.
Does that mean we've also got Nepal?
It's a branding thing though as well.
No,
the thing that fascinates. We had this conversation about renaming Reform and Rejoin last week, but the idea that it's called Eurovision, that brand has now separated itself so much in the consciousness as to what it is, that you can call something Eurovision Asia and it makes some sense somehow, basically. Because you can, it's not really, is it? Not Eurovision. It's not Euro.
There's a dangerously colonial sort of vibe to that, isn't there? I mean, I feel like if anything, Asia probably doesn't want sort of Europe.
Yeah.
Can't they sort of have their own?
But then if we get a reform government, we'll definitely be doing the British Empire Song Contest. Come along, everybody.
Hey, Mike, can you see the feed? Are you watching it?
I can. There's a gorgeous looking man there, and somebody else.
And Mike. Yay! There you go. Okay. Well, there you go. There's a picture of Mike showing up to our next Prime Minister.
I tell you,
first
my
Scouse
favourite
Prime Minister
story on
since
that.
Gladstone.
He came down to support Tom Gray's campaign in the general election, and I was following along, taking pictures for the local Facebook group, and I asked his political aide whether Andy would pose for a picture with nobody next to him, but with his arm around the mayor, right, the mayor of Trumpton. Effectively, I wanted to superimpose him later. And Andy looked at me and said, "What are you talking about?" And then this aide turned around and said, "Oh God, you run Trumpton? Bloody hell, Andy, you've got to do this. I love these cartoons, basically. And suddenly Andy is standing there in front of the pier with his arm around nothing, basically, so that I could CG in a picture of the Mayor of Trumpton. So I kind of hope he wins because I've got content, basically.
Yeah. The AI's lying to me again. I don't know why he keeps lying to me. Doesn't like me. A total of 7 prime ministers have been born in the north of England, spanning Yorkshire, Lancashire, Northumberland, and County Durham. We've got Charles Grey, who's born in Northumberland. I like that. And then we have Arthur Balfour, born in East Lothian, which last time I checked,
that's Scotland, isn't it?
Scotland.
That's the north of England.
Then you got H.H. Asquith.
It's up north. I don't know.
Harry Asquith. He was born in Morley in the West Riding of Yorkshire. Then you got David Lloyd George, whose first language was anyone? Welsh, yes.
Welsh.
Yeah, first language. He was actually born in Chilton upon Medlock in County Lancashire, which is Manchester now. Ramsay MacDonald is the next one from AI. Born in Lossiemouth Moray, Scotland. Do you see how that's not North England? Do you see how that's not North England?
That
again?
doesn't work.
You Northerners need to get over this, right? It's basically north of London, so it's Northern England.
And it's got Anthony Eden, County Durham, Harold Wilson, Yorkshire, and it doesn't have bloody Gladstone, who was born. There's a plaque where he was born on Rodney Street in Liverpool city centre.
There you go.
True story. In fact, the house he was born in is still there.
Which part of Scotland is Worcestershire in? Is that?
Oh, no, come on. We can't have that. Worcester is Midlands. Come on. If you're going to have a go at me for being Northern, remember I was born in Doncaster, even though I don't.
Crawley is the Midlands to us Southerners, basically. The middle between us and London.
The pain you cause people in the Midlands when you say that we're up north is very, very real.
Yeah, because they talk about the north-south divide. It's just cut in the middle. There's a place called the Midlands. It's literally called the Midlands.
The whole of Mercia. It was the biggest. It was one of the biggest regions in England. One of the most powerful Saxon kingdoms. It's just like
it's clearly there.
It's a dangerous no man's zone. It's a wasteland. There's like 2 big walls either side, apparently, and you're not allowed to go through the middle of it. That's what we've been told.
I don't know. You got it.
The impressive thing is that they've let you use the internet in the Midlands this week. That's nice.
Yeah, that was nice. Anyway, Gladstone, he's the only prime minister born in Liverpool so far until Andy Burnham comes along and becomes the peer. How many Scouse Doctor Who's have we had?
Oh, well, I'm thinking that there's an obvious person I'm thinking of, but is there another one that I don't know? Because I don't know all of classic Who as well as a lot of other people.
This is a totally tangential conversation.
Yeah. No, it's not. We need to know how many Doctor Who's were born in Liverpool. I know they're born in Gallifrey, but the actors play them.
I was going to say they were all born in Gallifrey. That's the answer.
But Gallifrey is a well-known suburb.
Were they ever born, or did they just because they're immortal, aren't they? Maybe they just always were.
But then they've got a limited number of lives until they get to that point, and then they invent a new story.
And then they said you can have another 12 for being such a good egg.
I feel like they just completely permanently trivialized any death ever in Doctor Who. Not that it was ever particularly expensive to die in Doctor Who. But...
It's a totally genius television trick that they didn't realize they were inventing. Like, it's the perfect. If you set up every television series by saying the main character can die if their contract becomes too expensive for us to pay, and then we'll just replace them with an unknown and somebody controversial. More like it's perfect.
Everyone's in the chat's getting this. There's actually 2. There's 2 of them.
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker, who was born on Scotty Road, which is like a famous place where famous Scousers are born in Liverpool, and Paul McGann, who was born in Kensington. So both born to very working class areas to working class parents, and did all right for themselves.
Okay,
travelled through time and space. And Kenny Baker. So Tom Baker is 92 years old now, and he's still going.
National treasure.
It's an absolute treasure.
We need to, if we're raising funds for personal security, please can we raise them for David Attenborough and Tom Baker? Thank you.
not for Nigel Farage. Can we talk about Nigel Farage's security? Because this is the biggest, best lie ever. I need it for my security. Because in a year's time, someone might piss through my letterbox.
The fact that he not only came up with this lie, this very obvious lie, but then has immediately gone, actually, no, it was a personal gift. And it's like, so which story was it? When were you lying? Because we know you have lied.
But it wasn't a gift for, like, being a good egg. Or, he had a dog that was ill and he took him to... It's a gift for doing a political thing. What is a gift for doing a political thing other than a bribe? Other than what else could you call it?
Look here, just because it's 50 million quid or 5 million quid or whatever doesn't mean there's a quo. Just because there's a quid doesn't mean there's a quo. It's a perfectly reasonable gift, you see. It's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this. In fact, I have several.
But what are the refuckers saying about this? Are they like, yeah, that sounds... Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
I do think there really is something about that 5 million quid that is going to stick. I get the impression that there are a lot of people that are starting to cotton on to the fact that he's getting this donation.
It's a nice number. We've had this conversation before. If it was $1 billion, I think people might go, well, okay, just one. Right, but 5 million feels like 10 times the price of a house somewhere in the Midlands, basically.
It's a giant amount of money, but it's a comprehensively large amount of money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good number.
It's hilarious. Just before I forget as well, on Thursday, right, when Wes Streeting, shut up, Wesley, decided that he was going to run for away from the cabinet, right? I put up a thing on Facebook saying, Wes Streeting, you absolute tit, right? Anyway, next time I go on Facebook, it's got the friend recommendations. You'll never believe who was in my friend people you may know list. Number 1. Fucking Wes Streeting. Apparently, I've got 5 mutual friends with the fucker. Ed's sitting there going, I've got like loads of friends with me. I'm in Labour, for God's sake.
I've got a selfie with Wes Streeting, to be fair. I have got
How did you fit your face on the picture? Because surely his face just took up the whole space.
No, I will say, in his defence, I will say he was very polite and very charming on that day. It's
because you're not trans, mate.
I'm not going to make any comments or attack him personally. Look, I'm just going to say, I don't mind the thought that he won't be the leader of the Labour Party. I think that the fundamental problem there is just, I'm mindful of the Mandelson scandal. I don't think anybody who has been within a light year of Peter Mandelson in British politics should be going anywhere near the keys of number 10 for a good while yet. It's just ready-made trouble.
Don't pull up the picture of me with Mandelson and the Mayor of Trumpton, whatever you do.
They skewered him on Saturday Night Live last night, Saturday Night Live UK, where one of the comedians was pretending to be Streeting. And he says, no, I'm all for LGBT rights, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and text to Peter Mandelson. I was like, okay, yeah. Wheels Darren, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Tom Baker, often seen in tea rooms in Tenterton. Tentatively in tea rooms. Oh, hello, Marina. We have Marina Purkiss has joined. Hello, she's just connecting to audio. Hello, Marina. Can you hear us?
She can't answer. She can't hear us. It's a technical thing.
No, come on. 1 minute.
Marina, you move your lip. You move your lips. Ed will do the voice. Go, Ed.
Go, Ed.
This is going to be very awkward.
While we're waiting for Marina to sort out her microphone, Saz, thank you very much for the £2 super chat, my friend. That's very kind of you. And also Chris C, thank you very much. It was rewards for Brexit. Therefore, it is a bribe. The police and the security services need to be investigating all donations to Reform UK. I couldn't agree with that more. Couldn't agree with it more. So, Marina gets a mic working. Oh no! This is why we need to set things up in advance, because otherwise, we're going out live.
Well, look, we're here as the warm-up act. We can just keep going as the warm-up act and just sort of it's that awkward scene.
I actually have a question. For the first time ever since I've been doing this for about 18 months, I get a link from Graham 6 minutes before 8 o'clock.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, what are you doing? And he's going, well, Marina's coming on. We need to be prepared.
We need to be professional. We need to be organised.
Normally, it's 10 past 8.
She's gone now. That was it. That was Marina. So thanks very much, Marina.
It's that awkward vibe when you're at a stand-up bar and you are the warm-up act and someone who's much more famous than you comes along, and you gotta vamp it 10 minutes past the time you were supposed to hand over, and everybody knows they're in the building, but you still got to keep going. You got to just keep vamping. Maybe like which number have we done that the audience has forgotten we did 20 minutes ago? Which one can we do again?
Yeah. Going back to Nigel Farage and this fucking bribe for 5 million, right? Because I was a bit worried because the news media, the news cycle seemed to move on very quickly from it onto other things that were going on. And that to me was a little bit concerning. But now it seems actually it's swung back because there's a handful of journalists and presenters who have actually kept going and kept on asking him. And I think every time now he gets interviewed, someone's going to bring it up, and he gets really ratty when people bring it up, doesn't he?
I think that's that's one of the weak spots that Nigel has got, is the fact that there's obviously stuff that he doesn't want to talk about. And if you're in politics, if there's something you don't want to talk about, you should make it clear you absolutely do want to talk about it, because that makes it much less juicy. And I think one of the things that, like with Donald Trump, the reason he's got this far into his career is because up to this point, he's never been afraid to just be as awful as possible. Like, he's just completely open about the sleaziness. Up to the point, and because he's so shameless, people don't feel like they can make a story out of it. Whereas if you're a journalist and you're trying to make a story out of something, a candidate or a councillor or an MP or whatever refusing to answer questions is so much juicier, because it gets the imagination going. It's like, what's the worst thing you can think of? Speculation mounts, tension is building, questions are being asked. It's like,
it's definitely, we all know it's 5 million for lap dancing. We all know that's what Farage was doing.
Well, he's certainly neither confirming nor denying.
I mean, I'm just speculating in the absence of any facts, basically.
But like I said, if he gets 5 million for doing a political thing, that is a bribe. That is literally the dictionary definition of a bribe. Getting money for doing a political thing. There you go. Thank you for doing that political thing. Here's that money that I said I'll give. I don't think Farage is a stupid man. I just don't think he cares. He's like Trump. He just doesn't care about the rules or nicety or decorum, decency or anything. He just doesn't give a toss.
There's just one thing he wants. And it's some money.
He wants the money. We've got a quiz from Darian Disaster. £5 super chat, thank you. Name the doctor who won an Oscar.
I feel like it's going to be David Tennant, but I'm probably wrong.
Sylvester McCoy.
Don't know. It could be one of the first ones, couldn't it?
Could be.
Like William Hartnell or someone. Probably William Hartnell probably got an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in a war drama.
Oh, hang on. Who wasn't it? Peter Cushing played him in the film version.
Yeah, in Daleks Earth 2050 AD or whatever it was called.
Did Peter Cushing ever get an Oscar?
Maybe, but does Peter Cushing count? Because he's not one of the canon doctors, is he? He's one of the spin-offs.
I just think that's unfair. There's been so many of them. Anyway.
Can we hear Marina? Marina can hear us now. Marina, can we hear you?
Yeah, I was just listening to you in your Doctor Who chat.
We're just nerding out to Doctor Who. I don't know why we mentioned Doctor Who. Are we talking about Scousers being Prime Minister? We only had one Scouse Prime Minister before.
I love the way you say, I don't know why we were talking about Doctor Who when it was you that brought it up.
Well, I can't remember from like 5 seconds ago.
This is a Doctor Who stream. We just pretend to do politics.
Yeah. But who's Andy Burnham? Andy, is he one of the Doctor's assistants or something? Is that what...
I'm feeling like this thing is going to really stick to Nigel Farage now. I can honestly see. And I don't want to get too hopeful because I've had my hopes dashed so many times. But Marina,
have you seen Dan Needle, tax accountant, specialist, extraordinaire superhero? He is now saying he's launching a full-on investigation. So
Dan Needle is like, personally.
Today I saw it and I've bookmarked it.
Oh, go
so
for
that is
it,
something
Dan.
to look forward to.
I've got a question. Like, what is it about politicians and not paying their taxes at the moment? That sort of whole story arc. Like, how many people have we now had that story about?
And it's all come from Dan Needle.
Yeah.
There's what is there? There's Farage, there's Angela, and there's Zach as well for not paying his council tax.
You can't lump them all in together, and this is the problem. The press does. Like, they're very, very different. The fact that, after being dragged through the mud, Angela Rayner essentially, HMRC comes out and says she wasn't careless. She didn't do it deliberately. She was actually reasonably
genuine
careful.
error. Yeah. And she paid it all in the end.
And I think it's we're talking the tens of thousands. It's to do with her disabled son's living, situation compared to this 5 million quid. It's so dodgy. The fact that he's saying it's for security and then actually it's not. It's for your new gaff, isn't it, that you bought?
1.4 million in cash.
I mean,
his French waitress girlfriend, who definitely doesn't have the assets, paid cash for the house, basically.
But Sarah's asking for your autograph, Marina. So next time we meet up, I'll have to get your autograph off you. That's really
Hello,
sweet.
Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. And Miss Paula Thomas, could it be that Farage's Teflon is wearing out? Well, you see, the thing is, though, I got my hopes up when Trump kept on getting, arrested and shit. I thought, oh, God, that's the end of him then, isn't it? And then he kept coming back.
It doesn't matter. For these guys, it doesn't actually stick. I mean, I think this one will stick. The number's a good number, and he's not answering the question. So I think it will be around for a while. But the problem is he can just shrug his shoulders and say, let's go for a pint. Everything will be fine. And people seem to buy it.
I think there's also an element of when the press hounds him, he uses it to his advantage to say, they're trying to come after me because we're threatening the establishment. And sadly, so many of their supporters are just gonna, they're very happy to lap it all up. I mean, I don't know if I've joined late and you've already been talking about the rallies.
No, we barely mentioned. We talked about the singing at the rallies.
Oh.
Yeah. We questioned how many people were dressed as Doctor Who at the rallies.
Stop going on about Doctor Who.
Turns out none.
Sorry I brought it up now. Did you see, Marina, the Led by Donkeys screen that they put up?
I did.
That was good.
Brilliant. I mean, I despair at that prick that decided to jump on top of it and what was he hoping to achieve? But what are they booing? What are they booing when they see, these amazing Brits? Like, why is it such a threat to them? They're fragile little egos. What is wrong with these people? The thing is, if you scratch beneath the surface, like Nicola Thorpe does a really good job. She's like another political sort of commentator. She actually goes along to these marches. She's far more patient than I would ever be. And she never sort of patronizes or I would not be able to do that. But she never patronizes. She really tries to understand why people are like this. And there's nothing there. There's nothing. You scratch beneath the surface. Like, there were two young lads she was speaking to. And they basically were like, we've got nothing else to do. And she was like, how do immigrants affect your life? She's like, well, they don't really. But it's like a day out, isn't it? It's a day out.
Yeah.
It's football hooliganism sort of transposed into the political space. And it is something that we see again and again. I mean, I think a lot of us have had the same experience. Like, I represent an area where there's a lot of reform support at the moment. And like you talk to people and there's just nothing underneath it. There's a surface level frustration about immigration. But then when you start unpicking it, if there's any frustrations at all, there are serious issues affecting the area, serious issues affecting people, but that's not what's channeled them into reform. And it's certainly not what's channeled them into the far right when they've gone down that track. It's really, really shallow in a lot of cases. And that makes it really hard to argue with.
It is the general othering that's gone on for over a decade now, 20 years basically, or more. Racism's not a new thing, is it? But it's this sort of coordinated, the reason your health service doesn't work, the reason your schools are shit, the reason you've got potholes is those brown people over there. And they just buy into it completely. And I don't entirely blame you. It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's always difficult on the left and on the progressive side of politics, because you really don't want to say these people are stupid and ignorant and badly educated and everything else, but they are susceptible. Let's at least say that they're sucking up this story. It's like the people that look at the horizon and say, yeah, the Earth is probably flat because I can't see any other information that's going to change my mind.
Our press has got our press is to blame for so much of this.
Oh yeah.
You just pop into. I
100%.
always make a little note when I'm, popping into my local supermarket just to look at the newsstand. And if that is your diet of news every single day and has been for the past God knows how long, then it's no surprise. And the thing is, of course, the knuckle draggers, they're gonna, believe this crap. They're going to be targeted on Facebook. And by the way, that's another thing I'm really scared about. Farage actually said after his local election success, he said to Beth Rigsby, he said, our targeting campaign hasn't even begun yet. And this worries me when you've got the millions of pounds behind them and God knows where these donations end. You just know it's going to be Cambridge Analytica tactics all over again. And we are not equipped legally, technologically, we're not equipped to deal with it. And that's the bit that really scares me.
Yeah.
And that's a really frustrating thing because we've had over a decade now of Cambridge Analytica and Trump, and we should have been organising ourselves instead of splitting. We should have been trying to find a way to do a ground funded by the users, basically, system to fix this, but we don't.
It was a really good line.
And you get the Biden and Starmer complacency that, now we're in power, everything will be fine, we'll just carry on as normal like we used to 50 years ago,
Well, I was going to say about that, I forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, Marina, I was going to ask about the feeling, because you're going to be on Jeremy Vine tomorrow. If there is someone from Refuck trying to justify this 5 million, how's the feeling on TV and stuff? Because I've seen Nick Ferrari, who I've got no time for, but he had a real go at a reform person for defending Farage on this one, because it's just how can you defend it? It's 5 million, obviously a bribe.
I've heard, it's the LBC calls. I've heard James O'Brien, I think, taking another call, or someone else, LBC. But these people, this is where I worry a little bit, because we're kind of heading in a bit of we always follow the US, and Reform and Farage are starting to take on a sort of MAGA movement, and it's becoming an identity. And when it becomes an identity, and when it becomes like a cult, and Farage becomes a cult leader, its followers or their followers will do anything to justify, defend, whatever. And I think we're starting to see that now. There's one guy on LBC was saying, it's all of them do it. All of them do it. And actually, I've got no problem with it. But, he was hacked. He was hacked.
Yeah, he was angry that someone knew about it. He was like, the investigative journalists doing their job. He's like, how dare they? How dare the police investigate me for this crime I obviously committed? Who do you think they are?
I'm not. I don't think. I'm on with Reem Ibrahim tomorrow. So I think she's from a think tank. One of these, is it IEA possibly? But I'd imagine even she won't be as silly as to take that position. But the thing that's interesting is, and I have brought this up with the show, why don't we talk about that? Why is that? Why, you get three main chunky debates. Why is that not one of them? Has that not been one of them when I've been on the show? I'm like, why is this not? If it were Keir Starmer or Rayner, you can guarantee there'd be a big old segment devoted to it.
Could you
imagine? I think the show has gone in a direction now. It's very, it feels like it's sort of heading in the right direction.
Soros. It came out that George Soros had given Keir Starmer £5 million as a gift. This is a guy who can't even get away with getting a pair of glasses or a couple of tickets for a gig. It's like £5 million.
Because we're supposed to, on the left, we are supposed to be whiter than white. On the right, it's baked in.
It's not a level playing field. And
to an extent, I think we. Sorry, Ed.
Sorry, I didn't want to. We're both excited to say the same thing at the same time, I suspect.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'll let you say it. It will be more eloquent.
I don't know about that. This is the thing. Like, when you're dealing with far right politics, they're playing a fundamentally different kind of game, and they're using a completely different vocabulary and language and presentation from anything that people on the left have experience with. And I keep running against the problem. You get left-wing people using left-wing language, talking points, facts, whatever. And they don't cut through because that's not what's appealed to these people. That's not what brought them out to the Tommy rally. That's not what got them putting a reform sticker up in their window. As you say, it's identity building. They're desperate to cling on to something that gives them a sense of identity or a sense of worth, and this is simply the team colours. And if you attack the team colours, they get more defensive, more locked in. It's sort of the irony. I mean, the cultishness is built into the movement by the fact that literally, as you say, you attack them, or you throw facts at them that are inconvenient, and they become more convinced that they're on the right side.
And how utterly despairing that is the case. And these are the people most likely to be hammered by reforms policies. There's another, I've forgotten his name, but someone on Instagram, he goes out and he wears like a Union Jack suit. Is it Adam something? I can't remember. Anyway, or Brickdoe. I think Adam Brickdoe. I think that's the name. And he goes out and he goes and speaks to these would-be or already reform voters, and he says, about the NHS. Oh, so you're happy to pay for the NHS? They're like, no. And what about fire and rehire? How's that? No, not a fan of that. No. Oh, and it's like they don't seem to care about anything else. It's just stopping the boats and basically vilifying immigrants. And that's the sad thing, they're voting against their own interests.
I think one of the mistakes, if I can put it that way, with people on the progressive side is I think we forget, like, politics is built on stories, and most simple stories have a bad guy. And I think when you actually look at it, like, who is the progressives' bad guy? There are lots and lots of different bad guys, but a lot of what we point at is sort of esoteric or ephemeral or philosophical, but we don't actually identify. And I think we sort of forget to identify.
We often skirt around the idea that the bad guy are the people with the money.
Yeah,
because we've been bashed with that so many times by homeowners, where they go, "What do you mean? My house is worth £200,000? Are you saying I'm rich?" You go, "No, you're not actually. That's the problem. The problem is that house prices are expensive, and you're busting a gut to afford it." But the reality is, we're talking about the billionaires, and again, we just come back to this inability for people to see the difference between a million and a billion, basically.
If I was going to put an optimistic spin on it, though, and I'd sort of be interested in your thoughts. The fact that there is this multi-billion-pound industry pouring propaganda into the public 24/7, as it is now, and the fact that reform aren't polling better despite that, I think in a sense is quite reassuring. The fact that left-wing politics still exists in this country despite that has to say something about the people of this country, and also just sort of the level of education that we do have. I think sometimes it's easy to sort of to feel passively like there is a helplessness, there is nothing we can do about all of this. But clearly there is something we can do if we're still here talking about it. The fact that we've not all been taken in, the fact that it hasn't completely worked. But I'd be interested in sort of seeing.
I think the multi-party system is the thing that actually plays into our hands, because that if Farage is trying to follow Trump's playbook, or Putin's playbook even, basically, if you've got a two-party system, having 35% of the vote as a solid vote is useful, because then you've got people that just can't bring themselves to vote Democrat, so they sort of close their eyes and vote Republican. But now we've got this sort of five-party, or even more in Scotland and Wales. You've got this system where actually you start divvying up the vote, and obviously the problem is that the Tories seem to be capitulating to Refox. So because they know, it's like a lot of the posts you've been putting in the Politics Social group are about this Worcester councillor that used to be a Tory MP, and then he joined UKIP, and then he became this, and then he became that. They don't fight each other; they join each other's parties over and over again. Basically,
that's another thing which I don't know if you know our situation at all in Worcestershire, Marina. It used to be a political backwater. It has become sort of the front lines of the culture war, it feels like. So just a very brief potted history. Worcestershire Council has become ungovernable after the Reform group that nearly but not quite won a majority last year has basically turned on itself. You've now got two completely sort of incompatible factions backing different people who wanted to lead the council, and they cannot get on with each other. So an opposition coalition came together to try and stop them, composed of Lib Dems, Greens, and Tories.
Yes, I did read about this. Yes. And the Tory party wasn't happy about it.
Nope. And the Tories nuked it from orbit because the Greens were involved. And it's like exactly what we were just sort of discussing. Like the right wing joining each other, fighting each other. But in the end, there's a sort of incestuous relationship between the different right-wing parties that is developing, where you've got this mobility between different groups and people position themselves in the place they think they can win the most. And no one stops to ask them, hang on a minute, you've been in how many different parties at this point? What do you stand for?
That's one thing that makes this is why Andy Burnham could be a really good thing as well, because if an alliance is needed come the election, I think Zach Polanski and Keir Starmer, it's just never going to happen. Never going to happen. Whereas Andy Burnham, Zach Polanski, possibly more open to it.
What's his record in Manchester as working across the aisle? Do you know it?
Not sure whether he's had to in the same way in the past. I mean, Manchester used to be pretty solidly one way. Although, if I'm honest, I think that's probably one of the things that the public has been reacting against. Like, if you look at areas like Wales, where Labour used to have, fairly solid control and a fairly solid presence, I think that in a sense the public have kind of gone, you've been in power for a long time. We want change. We want a bit more diversity of thought. And I think that, you saw the same thing playing out in the local elections. I think a lot of people felt they want more variety, but then the variety that was on offer was a neo-fascist party that's being backed by absolutely ludicrous amounts of foreign money.
Yeah. Can I ask the group, what do you think is going to happen in Makerfield?
I think he's going to storm it. 5,000 vote majority. That's what I've written down on my piece of paper here.
I just think it's going to be Reform are going to throw everything at it. Everything.
But before you got here, we were saying, what secret candidate has Reform got in the bag that they could bring out against Andy Burnham?
Haven't they got like a war veteran or something they're going to wheel out? And
hello, my name isn't Matt Goodwin. I'm actually Matt Getterwin.
I mean, I'm sure they can find someone from because it's around Wigan, isn't it? I'm sure they can find someone who's actually a local lad or a local woman. But they're going to throw everything at it.
That's what they're doing. I would have thought they'd throw a celebrity at it. I'd have thought they'd throw somebody.
That Bosch guy.
Oh, God.
Bosch Bellend.
From
Who was
The
it?
Apprentice.
Skinner.
I thought he was against Reform now.
No, he's Reform.
Which one was it?
There's
Bosch another
guy
one
from The Apprentice, along with Katie Hopkins and Donald Trump. Are there no evils in the world that haven't come out The Apprentice? It's like fucking Pandora's box. Just stop making that show, for God's sake.
I mean, what could possibly be wrong with the concept of having a show where the concept is that you've got a very wealthy person pointing at working class people and going, "You're fired," and being invited to think of this as a good thing.
They're not usually working class though. They're usually quite posh. They're usually the posh kids.
But there's still a power dynamic.
But they're not even hired. They don't get the job. So he's saying you're fired.
No, but this is
job interview. It's silly. Anyway.
But the important thing is that those shows are popular, and I think that is what resonates with people about people like Farage and Trump. I think if you look at Dragon's Den and all those shows, it's the American dream element of it that we could all be rich within capitalism. And that television, because television is, present company accepted, Marina, but they're largely wealthy people, basically, who are on television. Nick Ferrari is a millionaire defending the rights of millionaires all the time. And it's worse in America, where it's Tucker Carlson and Hannity, etc. So the line is, the American dream is you can grow up in a council estate and become a millionaire. Not that there are any council estates in America, but, supported economy.
Projects.
A project, and some people do, and when somebody does, they pull that story out, turn it into a movie, stick it in all the press, and say that's the dream you're all going to follow. And I think it's the same thing. That's what Reform are offering. It's why so many working class voters say you need a businessman in charge of government, and you just go, if you even stepped in the doors of government, you would realise that that's exactly what we don't need. It's fundamentally what we don't need, because a business is all about making profit.
I know.
Do you know what? I'm not going to relax till after this by-election. It's in a month's time. But look, if Burnham doesn't win it, I believe he stays on as mayor, so he hasn't lost the mayor. Is that right, Ed?
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
If he doesn't win it, we're toast. We just have to look at we're toast.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a Farage government. If Burnham can't pull in the voters, then we're toast. We might as well just pack up. That's how I feel. I'm
going to go down fighting, Marina.
I like to be optimistic, but God, if he can't do it, that seat,
it's the conversation that we were just sort of having earlier on. Like from my perspective, it's a very powerful test case. If Andy Burnham's pitch to the government, to the people of country, is that he can do better than Starmer. If he can't, in fact, then that puts up really asks some very, very fundamental questions.
I mean, in your CLP, Ed, I'd assume that it's similar to the one that I'm sort of involved in too down here, and the conversation within there is Andy's going to do this, and we're all going to throw everything we can. I mean, I'm getting WhatsApp messages at the moment offering rooms to stay in Macclesfield so that I can go and campaign and knock on doors. There is a national organisation within the Labour grassroots that wants this to happen. And I'm a fundamental believer that it doesn't really matter what the national side of the Labour Party do. If the grassroots turn around and say, no, we're going to knock on every door in Macclesfield, then they will, and they'll get the vote out for him.
I think what I'll observe, from my perspective, I don't think I can add a lot in terms of like CLP members, what they think about this, more on top of what you have. But what I will say is, you can't fake enthusiasm. You can't manufacture people wanting to turn out and actually spend time knocking on the doors, pounding the pavements. And I feel like you saw a lot more manufactured or attempted manufactured enthusiasm with the previous Manchester by-election. Like they poured everything into it and it didn't go well.
We didn't get these groups.
You didn't get this.
You
didn't get the activists actually voluntarily setting this stuff up so that they could take part. I think that's a huge difference between then and now.
And the vibe in those groups at the moment is that Streeting is just the backstabber. It's that funny thing of like, we all agree Starmer isn't doing a great job. But when Streeting comes out and says, right, I'm going to bring you down, everyone goes, no, fuck off, Wes. That's not...
No one who holds the knife is ever popular at the end of the day. And I think, in a sense, like, for those people who don't like Wes Streeting, I would also say, yeah, but he's the one who held the knife for Burnham. Imagine if it had been differently. And Burnham had been the one holding the knife. I think people might have felt worse about him. So...
Yeah, whatever gig it is. I mean, Wes, I'm guessing, is 10 years younger than Andy? I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's in his
so
40s,
I'm guessing he's just...
Andy's in his 50s.
So he's just holding his Tinder, isn't he, really?
Yeah. But Marina, if Burnham does lose next month, do you really think that that it's not worth continuing to fight on against these lunatics?
I mean, look, Graham, I'm not going to shut up, but there's going to be a part of me that's going to be like, we've got to sort of accept what's coming down the tracks.
What if Farage, because this 5 million thing has come at a really good time for us, but it didn't come early enough, I don't think, to affect the local elections. But I think for this one, every time someone puts a microphone in front of Nigel Farage into the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, they're going to ask about the 5 million, and he's going to get rattier and rattier.
So it's a bit like, the people who've, and this was me, being optimistic about the fact that now they've got 14 more councils to fuck up, and the idea that councils being terribly run, or your bin collection not happening, or your council tax being raised by the maximum amount, we've got this hope that people will go and point join the dots. My worry is that for a significant chunk of reform supporters, their hate of whatever it is they think they're fighting and that reform will get rid of, and this identity that they are now a reformer, is too strong. They are blinded by it. Yeah. And this is my worry, that the 5 million doesn't matter, and then something will happen and Andy Burnham will come in, and then I don't know, they'll find like he didn't want to tip someone at a restaurant or something, and there'll be this false equivalence.
The top off the toothpaste.
Precisely.
Can I try and put some optimism into that?
Please.
Because I think, let me go for that. So I'm going to pitch to you and see what you think about this, Marina. I think, yes, there are tribal reform supporters, but actually, if they're tribally reformed, they're probably also quite tribally Tommy Robinson. This movement has a lot of fissure points in it, like between the Tommy Robinson crowd, the Rupert Lowe crowd, the Nigel Farage crowd. There's a lot of places that the left could put its wedge and split them up, and that immediately dilutes their power. I mean, they're already, in Worcestershire, going at each other hammer and tongs, and And they were a cohesive unit a year ago. It was terrifying. You had the Flaggers, you had Reform United, you had some Conservatives giving them loving glances, and now that's not happening. It's split up in lots of different directions. At the same time, if you look at the polling, and my favourite poll of the last year was when they were looking at who would you be most unwilling to date by political party, and Reform was like way at the top of the list. If you're Reform, we don't want to date you. And that sort of spoke to how little love there is for Reform, and how viscerally the people who don't like Reform don't like Reform. And it makes me think like there is actually a huge chunk of the population which, if it works together, has, you know, the numbers are there to stop Reform, and they're not winning new supporters over.
But what a
I think
shame.
you're right, because
go on, sorry.
No, sorry, Marina.
Go on, Marina. Come on.
I was just going to say, what a shame that we're back in this position again, though, that we're potentially going to, at the next election, have to do exactly what we did before, which is get our tactical hats on to vote for what we don't want. Again, it's what we don't want.
But then I think to that point, one of the things we're seeing is that that's not happening anyway. Like, people aren't voting tactically. That's kind of the issue. That's why Reform are doing quite as well as they are, certainly on the local elections. People aren't voting tactically. And I've certainly got the experience as a Labour campaigner. People don't like to hear the tactical voting argument. When I see that line used, I think, oh, that's a campaign toasted, because it just doesn't cut through with people. People don't like being told that you have no choice. And they are increasingly exercising that choice, whether or not it will actually cause the problem. In a sense, the Reform vote itself is anti-tactical. In a lot of the seats that they ran and did well in, if they hadn't, it would have gone Conservative.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Miss Paula Thomas keeps telling us to look at the Leighton by-election in 1965. Does anyone? The 1965 Leighton by-election, held on January the 21st, 1965, is a famous bit of British political history in that it was embarrassing and shocking for the government. It was a beautifully engineered piece of Westminster arrogance that backfired spectacularly. In 1964's general election, Harold Wilson's foreign secretary lost his seat to a Tory, and Wilson persuaded another MP to step down, join the House of Lords, and they ran a by-election in a seat with an 8,000 vote majority. And the voters just went, fuck off, basically. We're not going to let you do that. And I think they voted in a Tory or a Liberal, and the foreign secretary had to resign. So
well, this is it. If Reform campaign on this being, you know, it's the Labour government playing games and like trying to do all this sort of, you know, underhand stuff to get rid of Starmer. Weirdly though, they're both kind of campaigning to get rid of Starmer.
Yeah.
Which is so weird.
Well, if you vote for Refuck, you keep Starmer. That should be the line.
Yeah.
Andy Burnham should use. Like, okay, well, if you want to keep Starmer, that's fine. Vote for
Gosh,
Refuck.
He's not going to do that though, is he?
He's not going to say that
not
out
if he
loud.
wants to sit in that cabinet.
That's a fine line, isn't it? Yeah.
I think people are smart enough to sort of see that if you vote for Burnham, you are essentially voting to replace Starmer with a different Labour person. I guess to your point, Marina, like if people don't vote for the Labour candidate in that by-election, they're basically saying they don't want that Labour government whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that becomes a much more fundamental problem. But the feeling I get, and again, I guess I'm sort of playing the role of not the devil's advocate, I guess, but sort of whatever the inverse of that would be, the unreasonably optimistic person's advocate. It's like, I don't get the vibe that people have turned on Labour to the extent that they are completely unwilling to hear a different message. The problem is they just feel that Labour went in the wrong direction in the first couple of years of government, and they want a change. They wanted a course adjustment. That's the vibe I get. And certainly, like if there's someone who represents like a serious change of direction for the government, but without not being Labour, then Andy Burnham sort of reflects that, because he's not in the cabinet, he's not in Parliament, he's well distanced and well removed from anything problematic that the government might have said or done.
Well, this is it. So I am one of those people who wanted Labour to get in and was really hopeful. And I've been so turned off by Labour, so many bad moves. Keir Starmer now, for me, it'd be very difficult to vote for him, well, for Labour with him at the helm. But then a new leader would have to really stand themselves apart and actually show why they are worth voting for. And the thing is, I would happily go back to Labour because I want you do, right? I want to because they've got the best chance of winning. But I want them to be Labour. I want them to do Labour things. I want them to not install bloody people with paedophile attachments, and I want them to actually go after, you talked about Edward, you talked about like we need to point the finger at like, who is the person in the story. We need to be clear about who that is. It's up here. It's the billionaires.
Exactly. Like,
hey, you're pointing at me. That made it look like you were pointing at me, Marina.
Not on my window. On my window, she was pointing at me. I think you're absolutely right, Marina. It's like, the worst thing? I was in Labour conference a couple of years ago, and a year ago.
The worst thing, full stop.
I was listening to a polling company reading out to us who would be most likely to vote Labour who currently aren't voting Labour. And you know what they said? It's progressive voters.
Precisely.
So talk to progressive voters. Yeah. And I thought, if I'm listening to this, surely the party leadership has heard this. So why are they doing that?
If he does get in, if he wins this election, and at the end of the summer he's now the leader and he becomes the PM, I don't know if he can bring in PR before the next election because it wasn't explicitly spelt out in the manifesto. I checked it today. They talked about votes for 16 and 17-year-olds, which they've done. They talked about making it easier to vote with different kinds of ID, which they've done. But the other thing...
Do you know what they could do, Graham?
Go on.
A referendum.
God, no.
We love a referendum.
But one of the things it does say is they're going to clean up politics and stop dodgy political donations. That's in their manifesto. If he goes after the refuckers, hammer and tongs, for being so, obviously corrupt, taking in cryptocurrency, taking in £5 million, that guy, aside from that, he's given 22 million just to the party.
There's an argument that listen, Starmer's not a stupid man by any stretch. He knows what's going on. It's not like Donald Trump where everybody's telling him that, you are God, it's amazing, don't listen to anybody else. So Starmer knows all this. There was a rumour that he was thinking about resigning last week and then didn't when somebody walked in the door and said, no, you need to fight this. I actually, if I want to put my little bit of optimism in, Ed, like you, I think they might be constructing the ideal solution here, which is that Starmer becomes the lightning rod before Burnham takes over. So Starmer actually just pushes through some unpopular things, unpopular with the right, basically, incredibly popular with the left, and hands everything on a plate to Burnham to say, okay, go for it, go and rejoin the EU, do whatever, basically, because I've done all these things. And personally, I think Starmer would be quite happy to become the Foreign Secretary in a Burnham government. And that actually, to me, would be a dream ticket. That kind of works perfectly.
Marina,
I think Starmer is a much better Foreign Secretary than he is a Prime Minister.
I thought it was interesting what you said, Marina, about Labour. And then you corrected yourself to say Labour with Starmer as the leader is the problem.
It's
lots of people
Starmer
feel the same way.
Yeah.
They would go back to Labour, but not while Starmer is in charge because he's messed up too many times. And you know what? I don't mind the guy. I don't hate him. I don't have, I don't sit there seething about him. But 15 U-turns, that's essentially 15 own goals that they did not have to score. Unforced errors where they went into, they announced a policy position. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And whether it was the population, whether it's old age pensioners, whether it was the farmers, whether it was their own backbenchers, they got stopped from doing what they wanted to do. And it's like, why did you even announce that? It was really obvious that you're a left-wing party. How did you think that was going to fly with your voters, your members, your own MPs? And it's like, I don't know. There seems to be, I was talking about this today, there seems to be a barrier between Starmer and, the rest of us.
I don't think Starmer is he didn't really grow up through the ranks of the local parties. He doesn't know what it is to be in a CLP for 20 years fighting the Tories. I was
going to ask for your vibe on this, and this is going to sound absolutely mad, so I want you to check me on this. I feel like one of the lessons of the Starmer years is this is why career politicians, as much as they might be on paper something people don't like, this is why we have career politicians who know what they're doing, know messaging, know politics, and can sort of think through how Johnny Public down the pub is actually feeling about what just was done. But
if you look at the amount of time that the leaders of each party have been a politician, Nigel Farage comes second after Ed Davey. He's been a politician for 27 years. He is a career politician, basically. And Ed Davey's been there 29 years. And Starmer is about 5, isn't it? Like, 10 or whatever.
And yet our press, in fact, Alistair Campbell said this, treats Farage like he's some new exotic animal. Like,
it's been around since the 90s. It's older than the fucking Spice Girls. What the hell?
Can I just quickly jump in? I'm so sorry. If I did not have the 5 a.m. alarm set, I would carry on. But I'm going to have to duck because still got to prep for my debates tomorrow.
Yeah, fair enough.
We're very grateful.
We've had some messages in for you. L. McPherson said that you need to give Carol Malone hell. Okay.
Oh, she won't come on with me anymore.
Oh, will she not? Oh, is she scared of you?
We've not been on since that time where she refused to talk to me, refused to answer me. We've not been on together.
Oh, well, listen, thanks for coming on, Marina. Really, really appreciate it. And if we can get you on at some point in the future, we'd love to do it.
Absolutely.
Sunday nights, we just talk shit about politics.
I mean, I love it. I love it. Thank you. And nice to meet you, Mike and Ed, as well.
But next time, come prepared with some Doctor Who facts, though. We're a bit disappointed.
I'll do my best.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, see you. See you,
Bye-bye.
Marina. Bye-bye. Mike there making us look really, really cool. So yeah, Star Wars. Yeah.
She joins it. We get a national TV political pundit in the show, and we're going, which Scouser was in Doctor Who? Was it K9?
Who had the best sonic screwdriver? Who was it?
I'm making no comments here. I was part of the problem.
But yeah, I think this is going to be a really pivotal by-election, and the way it comes. I mean, it is. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be in the depths of despair if Burnham doesn't win, but I mean, if he does win, I'll go on. Sorry.
Do you just feel nervous? Is that what it is? Because I feel like I don't want to get excited about the idea. Like, I can see all the logic of it. I think Burnham is a good salesman, and as long as he puts a good team behind him, he'll sell the story properly. And I think he'll appeal to a certain voter that you could swing away even from reform. But I just sit here going, oh God, how many times have we gone through this in the last 20 years? It's like, I don't want to get excited at the idea of a renewed Labour Party actually having 2 or 3 really good years in government. Basically,
I think it's as simple as this, really. And I think this is a lesson I wish we could sort of just get spread out into the public, because I think it's one of the antidotes to populism. We shouldn't be falling in love with politicians. That's not what they're for. They are supposed to be people who are there to be the vectors, to be the midwives of good policy. The policy comes from the public. The policy comes from people contributing their ideas. And, representatives are there to represent the people. They're not there to be cult leaders. They're not there to be messiahs. And when you've got a political leader that you really think of in messianic terms, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be really harsh on both Reform and the Greens here, they've both developed this problem, and I think it is bad. And I would also say cautiously, this was a problem under Corbyn. It meant that problems got bedded in very, very deep and were hard to unpick because you weren't allowed to criticize the leadership. And that is never a healthy thing to do. You shouldn't have a politician that you're in love with. You shouldn't have a politician that you assume is going to go all the way and can take for granted. That's not what this is about.
Do you know 100%, what? A big part of growing up is realising that your favourite actor can be in a shit movie, or that your favourite artist can put out a shit album. But with politicians, it's like you get to a point in these fucking fandoms where literally they could be pissing on a dog, like they could be pissing on a dog on fire, and they could be pissing petrol, and there'd be some kind of fucking excuse for it. Be like, maybe the dog likes it. Maybe they're like, maybe that's what the dog wanted. And it's like, no, there is a point where you have to stop supporting these people, no matter what. It was a shit movie. It was a shit album. This is a shit decision.
But it's kind of fundamentally the problem. The politics at the moment is like there isn't enough of a distinction between the core parties. I think that's the problem, and I think in the eyes of the public, right? I think that's they don't see a huge difference. They don't see big shifts ideologically between the two of them. And I think one of the problems that Labour always has is that whenever we're faced with a 10-year Tory hegemony, we turn around and say, don't worry, we're not going to put up taxes, don't worry, we're not going to do this, don't worry, we're not going to do that. And then we tie ourselves up in knots where we can't, Rachel Reeves at the moment is just tied in these knots of these fiscal rules that she set that will behave just like Rishi Sunak. And Blair did that right at the beginning and then threw it away.
Before you chip in,
Yeah.
while Marina was on, because I knew she was only on for half an hour, so I didn't want to interrupt anything that was saying to do the super chat. So I'm going to do all the super chats now. So thank you so much for everyone who chipped in. The reason why I wasn't sort of saying, well, just stop you there for a minute while we do the super chats, it's because I knew she was only going to be here for half an hour. So we've got a question for you. Is there something you want to tell us, Ed, from Sphere Lance? I think that's to do with your taxes, your unpaid taxes. We've also got Peter Capaldi won an Oscar, so that was that's from Viper Scott. Thank you. We've got Darian Disaster who has chipped in £5. Congrats to everyone who guessed Peter Capaldi. He won his Oscar for best action short film in 1995, which is really cool. Sarah Davis, £2 super chat. Thank you, Marina. You're a legend. Ed, you're awesome too. Oh, that's really sweet. Just me and Mike.
Hang on. What about me and Graham? What's going on?
Hang on. I just want for the super chats. If anybody in the super chats talk about John Hurt?
No one mentioned John Hurt.
Apparently, while I was looking this
up.
He
played the War Doctor.
Yeah. Deep cut. I didn't remember him either, but I was looking it up. It's like, technically, and he has won Oscars.
Oh, Marina's gone. We can go back to the Doctor Who podcast.
The 8th and the 9th incarnation of the Doctor was the War Doctor.
Couldn't we find some segue into this, which is which Doctor Who would have voted reform?
I think Baker.
I'm going to answer that question. I think no. I think almost none of the actual Doctors would have voted reform. However, the first Doctor as represented in that one Christmas special episode, when it was like the writers were trying to make him as misogynistic as possible and just hit every possible stereotype of someone from the era. That guy might do.
Yeah. We've got some more before we go on. People should write to their MP and tell them they won't vote Labour under Streeting. That is what I'm doing. Also, fuck Nigel Farage. We need press reform. Absolutely. James Horner, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Sci-Fi Plus Pulse now has got a £2 super chat saying, go Andy Burnham. Hey. And we've got Paul Fletcher saying Farage has stopped the fishing boats. That's very good.
Love that.
Do you know what I saw today? I saw
that.
For Burnham, this was Maker or Breaker Field. Oh, I like that. I was like, oh, damn, why didn't I think of that one? George only, thank you very much. What about Burnham's gamble to win a parliament seat? I think we've covered that. Miss Paula Thomas, £2 super chat. For God's sake, have a look at the 1965 Leighton by-election.
We did.
Miss L's LB. Can this be traced back to Gove being sick of experts? Yeah, I think everything can be traced back to that. That's like the ground zero of the stupidity virus that's gone everywhere. Chris C, £5 super chat. In the UK, the top 10% of households own over half, 57% of all the nation's wealth. At the bottom, 50% own less than 5%. It's been like that since 1066.
Mr. Tuss 27 asked an interesting question, but who will be the Greater Manchester mayor? And I think there's a lesson. Well, there's a lesson from Leighton there, isn't there? Which is that
Marina's back.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
And everything. Hey, how's it going?
Good to have you with us this evening.
Yeah, how's it going?
All right. Sorry we didn't get you on earlier. It's just that I was just explaining to the audience we only had Marina for half an hour, so it was just like, quick, while she's here, get her to talk loads, and then.
And she only wanted to talk about Doctor Who, so we thought you might come on and ruin it all by talking about politics or history.
Who's the best Doctor?
So we were diving into, you saw some of the show. We were diving into Andy Burnham's attempt to get back into Westminster and then possibly become our next Prime Minister. Sadly, John Hurt never won an Oscar, apparently.
Is it Peter Capaldi?
Yes,
Peter Capaldi did. Yes,
Peter Capaldi's the one who won an Oscar.
For a short film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't. Yeah, John Hurt didn't win.
How could John Hurt not have won an Oscar with that voice?
It's like Eurovision. Like every year, there's a country that gets absolutely cheated, and I'm trying to remember which year it was.
We were not cheated.
No, I'm not talking about us. I think we've agreed that we deserved 0 this year. I'm talking about. I think was it Croatia last year. And I think a lot of people thought they should have won it. Is it Rim Tim Taggy?
Something like that. I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
I mean, I listened to that, and I thought, well, yeah, they were robbed officially.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, John Hurt never won an Oscar. That's you know, Alfred Hitchcock never won an Oscar for Best Director.
That's crazy.
I know. Oh, some of the people didn't win Oscars. I mean, Scorsese didn't win it for Raging Bull.
Yes.
He didn't win it for Mean Streets. He didn't win it for Goodfellas or Casino. He ended up winning it for The Departed, which is a remake of a South Korean film or something, or a Hong Kong action film called Infernal Affairs. There you go. But yeah, it was like one of his shittest films. And it's still a good film, but for him, it was one of his shittest films. He won the Oscar for that. It's like, oh, just give him the fucking Oscar. Just give him it. But yeah, John Hurt won a few BAFTAs. Okay, well, that makes you feel better. But if you get like 4 BAFTAs, can you trade them for an Oscar? Like in Monopoly, where you got 4 houses, you can trade it for a hotel.
Should it be the other way around? 4 Oscars for 1 BAFTA.
Look, they won loads of Oscars for the Barbie movie. I feel like the BAFTA has more value, and I'm not disrespecting the Barbie movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Can I just do?
Yeah.
Can I just mention that Sarah Davis in the chat said she met Colin Baker yesterday, and she's just pinged over a photo of him speaking, which I can't just put up on the group, but I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, I feel bad now for saying he's the one who would have voted for Refuck. Of course he wouldn't.
Well,
he's a lovely guy.
Well, to be fair, anyone that goes around doing talks about Doctor Who and is wearing a suit with pictures of the galaxies and planets on, I think maybe he would definitely be a bit of a grifter, basically.
Darian Destar is saying Charlie Chaplin never won an Oscar. He did. He won a honorary Oscar in 1971 or something like that. He came over from Switzerland, where he'd been living in exile for the former 20 years because he had been outed as a communist, and he left Hollywood as a result.
Also, his career suffered dramatically when he was outed as being English.
Well, he was also outed as a paedophile, so
it's when Talkies came out.
I mean, that's most people who are famous by the looks of things.
Always, it's either Doctor Who or paedophiles on this.
I think it was the kid out of the movie, The Kid.
Which Doctor was a paedophile?
No, we're not ruining all of English.
Can't we have one nice thing? Can't we just have one thing where the people involved aren't absolute jerks?
You're not hurting Tom Baker. We love him.
Oh God! Oh, what are you saying, Edward?
No,
what are you saying? Why are you bringing up Tom Baker when
none of us named anybody there? You just brought up Tom Baker.
I am saying you are not allowed to poison this thing. This is precious.
I think.
What if David Attenborough dies and someone finds
channel,
a box?
No.
I don't think it's exactly.
No. They find a box full of Polaroids and like, oh my God! And like the person they find it with, they're like, do we burn it? What do we do? Do we burn it? Anyway, it's been a hell of a week. I'm a little bit more hopeful. I know it's going to be very worrying for the next month until this by-election takes place. But
are you all worried about it?
Yeah, a bit.
If he doesn't win,
Ed is eternally optimistic.
I mean, look, I'm always an optimist, but I think on the balance of it, I mean, I can't see that it makes a lot of sense. I mean, okay, I'm gonna go back to the stock answer. You should never take anything for granted. I think that people need to vote like it's close. You always should. And they need to decide really which direction they want things to go. I don't necessarily see the logic for why people would vote Green if what they now want to do is to send a message to the Labour Party. I also don't see why they would necessarily vote Reform to send a message to the Labour Party. If people do vote for those parties, it's specifically because they think, a pox on all your houses, we can't possibly have a Labour government.
Yeah.
And I think that my view very simply is, if there is one party that people are prepared to vote tactically against right now, it is Reform rather than Labour. That's my theory.
But then, what is it? Why are Graham and Mike so apprehensive? Are you just scared of Reform in general? Is it like the boogie?
We're just scared of hope, Alex. I think we've been doing this too long, and we're largely going, well, what's the point of being optimistic? it'll all go to shit.
Yeah, because if you're not optimistic, right? If he loses, then you're like, oh well, whatever. I thought he was going to lose. But if he wins, then you're pleasantly surprised.
We're going to be able to say in a month's time, look, I told you I was sanguine about this. Basically,
well, I have already said tonight that I think he's going to win by 5,000 votes.
Yes.
So what would that be as a percentage? Like 40?
Depends how many people vote.
It does depend on turnout.
And
So
one thing Refuck are very good at is getting people who aren't interested in politics to vote. They are the party for people who don't like politics.
Yeah, so this is what's getting me a bit wild about all of this. Like, he's been damaged by the whole 5 million bung thing. There's no two ways about it. And half of it hasn't come out. I'm working on a video now going and looking what the National Crime Agency, the NCA, wrote about Tether. It's fucking horrific.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad.
Huge scandal.
They've got UK crime basically money laundering into Tether and the Russians involved.
Yeah.
I've not heard this on mainstream because it's old news stories.
There was an article about it in like 2019 in The Guardian about how it was linked to basically Russian oligarchs. But also since then, Putin's been using it to avoid sanctions.
It's been well known for a long time.
Farage is being bankrolled by someone who's effectively bankrolling the genocide in Ukraine.
Well, Russians. And he's got Nathan Gill, who he said on clip, he's great. I trust him 100%. Greatest guy ever. Could do no wrong. No one in the press is asking why they've not started a Russian investigation into the Reform Party. That's what needs to be banged out.
It's the thing that ties together the Russian mafia under Putin, Trump, the Saudi Arabian money, the UAE money, the Trump sons, basically, Farage. Everything Iran, is connected through crypto. Many years ago, right? This is long before crypto was even a thing. I worked for a guy that was... he became a multimillionaire right at the beginning of the internet because he owned the rights to one of the protocols that you needed to use for the internet, basically. So he created one of the first internet providers, and then he sold it because the board of directors thought he was a madman, which is probably true because I ended up working for him and he did turn out that way. But he tried to launch, this is 25, 30 years ago.
It's you, isn't it, Mike? It's you.
He pitched me one day this idea that you could create a digital currency that would not be regulated by banks or countries, and you would be allowed to use that for anything you wanted. And I just sat there and he would do this all the time. He would come up with ideas, and sometimes they worked unbelievably. And this one I just sat there and I said, well, surely just criminals and pornographers are going to use it. Surely that's people that want to hide their money. Those are the people that are going to use it. And he said, yeah, it'll be incredibly successful. I know. Well, I don't really want to run that one. Thanks very much, basically. But it's true. And it ties all the AI guys and Twitter. If you look at all of those stories, which are incredibly, they are
dramatic zoom. Sorry.
Whips. They're dangerous stories to get yourself down the rabbit hole of. But essentially, it's all connected to this, that they want deregulated, unregulated money. That's what they want.
I was just, for a minute there,
that's what I want.
With the camera zooming on you like that for a second and the lighted background, I was thinking, hang on, is this the moment where we discover that actually he's deep into crypto?
With my white cat.
I mean, there is.
Talking of money, though, we hit the totalizer twice. I think maybe 3 times, and we didn't get to do the confetti. So we're going to do some confetti now. So 3, 2, 1, confetti! Woo! Yay! Confetti! Thanks to everyone who chipped in. And
it's very much the confetti moment for me is very much like being at Butlins and somebody comes out. Everyone be happy!
Everyone be happy! Why aren't you happy?
Okay, I'll fake it. Okay.
Yes, that's what we want. Are you faking being happy when you're on here, Mike?
No. I love you. Honestly, of course.
He makes me come on this show each week and talk about politics, and all I want to do
is of course, I orgasmed, Graham. It was lovely. Thank you.
What do you think the confetti was?
I was faking it, but no. Mike, I have a question. So, you know, when you started doing the Trumpton stuff, right? Did you actually have to buy the copyright for the Trumpton characters? No. How did that all work?
I did have it. I just stole it, and I had a conversation with somebody at BBC Worldwide who do own the copyright in Trumpton. Once the story broke in the Financial Times, I rang somebody that I know at BBC Worldwide, and I said, "Am I in trouble here? Am I likely to be in trouble?" And they said, "Are you making any money?" And I went, "No, not a penny." And they went, "Well, you're fine then. We're not going to sue you." And then they said, and this was probably a different BBC at the time, they said, "What would the optics be if we sued you?" Basically, that if we just tried to shut you down. And it's why at the moment I keep looking at the Iran videos, the Lego videos, and just thinking about the boardroom at Lego and the meetings they must be having. Going, is this good for us or not? I don't know. What should we do? What can we do?
Visibility has never been higher. However, we are now involved in pushing propaganda for a totalitarian Islamist state.
We do the new Batman Lego movie that comes out next week. Is that going to do well as a result of this or not? We don't know.
The metrics in the Middle East are peculiarly high this year.
Yeah. I think it's with satire. I think you can get away with these things as a rule, basically. So. Yeah. And I don't actually use Trumpton characters really anymore. I use the mayor and the name sort of. But that's about it, really.
Oh. Well, you know, there was the movie, wasn't there, The Coca-Cola Kid? Do you remember that from the 1980s?
Yeah.
And Coca-Cola originally said, you can't call it that. And they went, okay, we'll call it the Pepsi-Cola Kid then. And they went, oh, wait, come back.
Do it. Yeah.
Because hardly anyone saw the film, because it's not that good. But the name is out there. Do you know what I mean? No publicity is bad publicity. We see this with Trump. We see this with Farage. They know that those ugly mugs being on the newspapers every day wins them votes because it's just familiarity. Yeah. For a third of voters, they do not care about politics. They care about who they know. And they're like, and this is the thing that Andy Burnham's got going for him in Makerfield. I think it's going to be very hard for Reform to put up a candidate of the same caliber for the people, because it'll be someone who's famous for something, but maybe not for helping people in and around Wigan. Whereas Andy's kind of like legendary in the Northwest for turning things around in Manchester, and obviously is
I think this goes back to Ed's point, which we didn't really expand much, which is that where you're absolutely completely right, that I think the Greens at the moment are heading down the same route as Reform, which is it's about the leader and the character of the leader as much as anything else. And I think the problem is that we are looking at Starmer's government and going, it is characteristics of the leader that are the problem here. And I've always said that I agree with you completely that it should be about do you agree with Labour's policies or Tory policies, and when they go wrong, do you criticise them and hold them to account? But also, we are lacking somebody that can tell a story. We are lacking somebody that can get you excited about politics at all, basically, within the Labour Party. Whereas Farage can do it with certain people. Yeah, and also he can also cause controversy, which is, as Graham says, Trump is the classic example of I don't really care why I'm on the front page as long as I'm on the front page, basically. Yeah.
Can I sort of jump in on that and say expand on a point that we've kind of touched on before, but I think bears thinking about some more, which is, from my perspective, I look at the prime ministership and I think actually as a job, are we getting to the point in Britain, because the premiership hasn't always been what it is today. It's evolved out of other things. Like the prime minister was originally a pejorative term. And, in terms of like what the technical name for the role, it's actually quite a whole long list of other titles.
First Lord of the Chancellery or something.
I think First Lord of the Admiralty, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, the term prime minister wasn't official until about 1906, I think. So it's a fairly new term. So when you have a list of prime ministers, you can say, well, actually, no, it started with, I don't know, Barth or Asquith.
So what I'm getting on from that is saying, like, the prime ministership, the idea of having a prime minister and calling it that isn't necessarily as old as people think. It's not been around forever, and perhaps we're evolving into a different direction in UK politics, because when people talk about the prime minister, it feels like they're talking about a president rather than a prime minister, and there's a fundamental difference between what a prime minister is and does versus a president. And Starmer's fallen on the wrong side of it, because he's been, in many ways, you could say, he's been acting like presidents act, and presidents basically, they're head of state. They are the face of their country. They go out there, they schmooze foreign dignitaries. That's kind of what they do. In Britain, we rely on the royal family to do a lot of that, but that's become that's become different in its own way. In a sense, we've got a premiership which is trying to be both a presidency and a legislator, and it's not got the right set of powers for that, if that's what you want the office to do. And equally, do you want the president and the presidential figure to be deep in the muck of partisan politics? You probably don't necessarily.
You might not want that, but that doesn't mean you don't get out of that. Like Thatcher was able to do that, and the fact that you can do a cabinet reshuffle does give you quite a bit of power.
It gives you a lot
to be able to mold it. I think it gives you more power over time, but over time you get less MPs. So you have that sort of balancing act. That's why Blair and both Starmer had this opportunity when they first came in, and I guess Johnson as well, to really go forward with an agenda with a bunch of MPs that are unlikely to push back. They didn't really, none of them, well, Blair did. No, Blair didn't to begin with. I think it was such a new thing for him. And I think Johnson just fluffed it because he's Johnson, plus he had to deal with COVID. And
the other problem with that part of the
Starmer's
system,
fluffed it because he's just, I don't think he particularly had a solid plan on how to fix the economy.
No, I think he does. I think he does. Our economy's doing all right at the moment. It's not too great, but like the G7 countries, we've got the highest rate of growth. But I mean, it's by fuck all. It's 0.1% more than the others. But before we go on, just on the Prime Minister thing, it's First Lord of the Treasury. And the first one was Sir Robert Walpole in 1721. But it wasn't official until Sir Henry Campbell Bannerman in 1905, and that's the first time it was actually used.
I think the problem is if we just go on GDP, it doesn't show the full picture. Yes. So there's loads of other stuff that's hidden underneath that isn't talked about in the press. So, like, for example, what percentage of housing do you think is dilapidated or in deplorable condition in the UK?
20%.
How much is dilapidated in the UK housing?
Yeah, dilapidated, poor condition. Like, you shouldn't really be living in it.
That's going to be it's going to be a shockingly high percentage. I should have an idea, but I'm frightened that any number I say is going to be too low.
Five. I'll go for 5%.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Ed?
I'm going to guess 15%.
Not bad, actually. Mike and Ed were the closest, 17%. Do you know what country's next?
After us.
Belarus. North Korea. No, it won't be North Korea.
It's not far. Let's say in Europe. Let's say in Europe.
In Europe.
Yeah, in Europe.
I'm going
Hungary.
You think Hungary?
Albania.
Bulgaria, maybe.
Bulgaria. It's Poland. Want to guess the percentage in Poland?
10.
10.
No. Oh, the next one after us. It's probably only like 2% or something because they don't. They don't.
Poland's 2. Ed.
Oh God, I have no idea what proportion of housing in Poland is.
Can we go back to the Doctor Who quiz?
I'm going to guess about 10%.
There is a good reason for me doing this.
Yeah,
it's because it's 5%.
It's 5%.
So when we hear this thing about GDP, we miss out the fact that our housing is such a shit state. You've got black mold to the point where a kid died in London as a result of black mold. And I bet you most of you will be able to tell some sort of stupid fucking story where your landlord refused to do anything about black mold, and you had black mold in your bathroom, where you had black mold in your bedroom.
One of my very first cases as a counsellor was literally this. I obviously I'm going to fully anonymise the story, but it basically amounted to mum and tot living in a house that was unfit to live in by any reasonable standard and had been allowed to be there for a long time, and this was not unusual. And like the amount of housing cases that I've had to deal with, and I know colleagues have dealt with a whole lot more, like it is genuinely really one of those stories. The fact this isn't front page news every single day is one of the biggest travesties of politics, and there is so little discussion about the absolutely abysmal state that a lot of people are living in, whether that's in blocks of flats, where the stairwells aren't properly insulated, or whether you're dealing with houses where they don't have proper ventilation, and the advice from the housing association is that you should open a window. Well, I can't afford to do that because I can't afford the heating bill.
And
it's like, again and again and again. I've got families where there are mums and tots having to climb 2 or 3 sets of stairs to get to their flat. And like, you can imagine if you've got any kind of health condition, that becomes a problem. But unless you are physically in a wheelchair, then it's very hard. It's precious hard for people to get eligibility to move into the ground floor. And there's just no ground floor flats.
You say that, right? Peckham has got the biggest. It's one of the biggest hubs in London, right, for trains. If you're in a wheelchair, you can't get down. You actually have to slide your bum down the stairs bit by bit to get down. And we're in 2026. It's fucking disgusting. And the point is, like, we've got inequality, which is like one of the highest in the world, I think. I don't even think within Europe. I think in the world you've got inequality, which as we've seen throughout history, is not a good sign. I think you can go back as far as like ancient Rome, and you can see when they had this huge level of inequality. I think there's like a third of Brits have like 250 quid in savings, or not.
You were saying about GDP, so we're the 5th in the world again.
But that's my point. Like, just because our GDP is doing well doesn't mean the country's doing well.
GDP per capita.
It's like when you hear Trump say, "Oh, what is it they call what's their stock market called?
Wall Street.
The S&P. So, which one are we thinking of?
Nasdaq.
One where he's always banging on
S&P.
about it being the highest ever.
That's the FTSE's UK.
Yeah, that's
over
UK.
in America. Just say Wall Street.
Nasdaq.
Yeah, he's always saying it's the highest.
Dow Jones is that one.
Dow Jones. He's always saying it's the highest, and you're like, yeah, but if I'm not investing in stocks and shares, why the fuck would I give a shit? But it makes it sound as if it's like the big thing, and this is why I'm a bit like hesitant with GDP, because it's just like. Well, I don't think that the British public, like, if I wanted a more perfect system, I'd go, your wages and wage increases is in line with GDP. So when the country does well, you get something back and it's equal. But we've never done that. In fact, we've done everything to railroad it downwards to keep wages so low that you can barely even afford rent.
You are pulling on a thread I'm desperate to sort of unravel a bit more, which is like one of those key points you were saying about the stock market. Why does Trump wang on about the stock market as much as he does? It's because so many Americans have their retirement funds linked into the stock market, and that investment is where they put their money. In the UK, where do households store their wealth? Where do UK households store the largest share of their wealth?
Like Nigel Farage under your bed, maybe? I don't know.
No, in the house itself.
The house itself, house prices, why are they so high? Because we have built a housing market.
Boomers have got 7 each.
Because we have built a housing market which is used as an investment reservoir, not as housing. And the result of that is there are powerful disincentives from building new housing. And you've got to have housing prices go up and up and up. And if you dare to do anything that could possibly bring house prices down, there are millions of Brits who will immediately lose their minds because that's their life savings gone in a flash.
I agree with you completely, right? But how do we solve it? What's the answer to the thing? Because the way you
like Logan's Run.
Yeah, but other than that, right? Because what you've got to do,
Alex. Sorry, Alex, I didn't mean to start with you.
What you've got to do.
I was expecting you to start singing La Marseille or something. No, Logan's Run. Fucking whack him. Let's go Godfather and fucking
let's sleep with the fishes.
I mean,
big trebuchet into the sea.
You'd slash the pension bill and solve the housing market all in one go.
I cannot endorse
Logan's Run. You're right. Let's just
okay.
Let's do it.
We cannot endorse that. But I think, like, if you're asking the question, how do you actually start to fix this? I think it's a complex process. I think it's a staged process, but I think you just fundamentally have to start building more housing, and you have to have a government that is in a political position to wear the storm.
Yeah, well, exactly, and we haven't had one of those for a long time.
And
so the issue for me is, like, just to bring it up, to take it into the same territory as Logan's Run in a way. But if you look at the way that they abolished slavery in the end. It was to say, okay, this is abhorrent and it needs to change, but we are going to have to compensate the slavers in order to stop using slave labor. We're going to have to pay some money out of the coffers to the slavers, right? So in this situation, I'm not comparing for 1 minute a house owner with a slaver. I'm just saying that the impact on house owners where they're in an economy where, as you say, their wealth is tied up in their house. as an investment,
Yeah.
then we're going to have to compensate them. So the practical way to solve this is to say, okay, we are going to put £4 billion by to do this, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to put this money into a government bond, ISA backed whatever, that compensates you for the percentage house increase that you were going to get. Creates a load of savings money for the government as well, which wouldn't come for. And basically, it's you just take a survey on a day of what your house is worth, and that's what happened.
This is something Andy Burnham's been banging on about. Council houses. Not just building houses, specifically council houses.
Specifically, like if you want to get back to that point that we were just discussing about the shocking state of UK housing, what is a huge chunk of that dilapidated housing? A lot of it is what either is or was social housing, and the state that it's been allowed to get into. Like every single week, you will see horrifying. Like you won't see them in the top headlines, you won't see them given high billing, but there are housing associations that have got serious problems with maintenance, and essentially it's like any problem they fix, there's about 15 more that they haven't got the staff, they haven't got the resources for. And it fundamentally comes down to the fact that we haven't built enough new housing that we can actually get people out of the housing that isn't suitable to live in.
So I think in Norway, this is interesting. You're not allowed to rent your house out until it's been inspected. And then it's got to be up to code. It's as simple as that.
And I
get behind that straight away. Like, no,
they have a policy called Roof First or something, don't they? Home First, which is that anybody that cannot afford a house is essentially put into a system that gives them a house, and then they start dealing with the other things in welfare, etc., etc. And that also gives rights to people that do own houses as well. So it's not just taking from one and giving to the other. There's a lot going on in the chat. I mean, I know Sarah Davis is facing eviction because the landlord is not paying the mortgage at the moment. And I think, obviously this story touches on me a little at the moment. I've had a personal interest in it, but I don't know why we didn't put the Renters Act in, predict that landlords would drop themselves out of the renting market overnight and evict a number of, 65% increase in Section 21 evictions in the last 4 months. I don't know why we didn't predict it and put some money by it and say, and we'll buy them all. We'll buy all those houses off those private landlords, and we will turn them into council or supported. We'll put them into whatever hybrid way you want to do it, so that it is a public service provision rather than the other. I don't know why the government doesn't come into people paying ridiculous rents every month for substandard housing.
Pay your rent to the council.
We will pay the deposit on the house for you and give you a mortgage backed by the government, guarantored, and you pay the same amount of money you're paying every month back. And it's a mortgage, and you own the house. You own the house in 30 years or whatever it is. I don't know why the government doesn't do it.
Before we go on, Viper Scott, £5 super chat. Build more houses, then dump them in the market, brings down house prices, or giving funding for the first-time buyers, like Scottish government is doing with doing what one. Yes, I think we need to do something like what Mike was saying about give sort of reparations to people who have got these houses that are there for an investment. Give them a government-backed ISA or something instead. Let them get out of that situation, because you're right. There's nothing else.
The interest.
Solid.
If you also launch a scheme that converts rent into mortgages, basically, then you use the interest that those people are paying to pay for the reparations that you're paying to the landlords. The whole thing. If you take the banks largely out of the system, basically, not completely, you get them to do this, and you tell them there's a particular way of making profit from this, but it is the way to do this. And you need a government that's got the balls to come up with a system like that deals. It's okay for us to say fucking landlords this and fucking rich people that. The problem is we need answers. But we need answers. We need to be able to stop those rich voices from saying, from controlling the press and the media and their underlings to say, well, just tell that guy that's only got 10 quid in his pocket that one day he'll be rich. Stop them saying all of that by just saying, we've compensated you, shut the fuck up.
Ed, we'll come to you in a moment, but Miss Paula Thomas, quickly, £5 super chat, thank you. Gary Stevenson did a really good video on why housing as an investment is so bad for the economy this morning, which I agree with. Sorry, Ed, go on.
No, I was going to say, I'm not a huge fan of Gary Stevenson, but there are other economists saying the exact same thing. It's like, it is really, really shameful. It is just literally about breaking that relationship between housing being an investment and actually using it for what it's supposed to be, which is housing. I think it was really amazing to me, and to the point about the media covering this, it was amazing to me how when I did videos about this and I was just talking about the changes as they happened, the chat was full of people who were shilling for landlords, saying that the economy would fall to bits without them. And it's like, I had one person, and I saved this comment somewhere, and I'll have to find it and read it out at some point because it was just incredible. It was someone saying, your logic is faulty. Your landlord owns the property. Without the landlord, there isn't a property. You can't do without the landlord. And it's like, no, I don't need the landlord.
Property is theft. Who said that? I don't know.
I didn't quite go that far, but it's like there's people arguing that we need landlords because the landlords own the properties, therefore we have to have the landlords. It's like, no, that's not. It's not a law of physics.
Every pound spent on a house, invested in a house, not for someone to live in themselves, but to invest. Every pound invested in a house is £1 less invested in businesses, in people, in wages, in hospitals, schools, filling potholes, looking after people. It's £1 less. And it's a dead end as well. Like that money's not going anywhere in the economy. It's not swooshing around the economy. And the reason why austerity failed so badly is because it literally took the wheels off the vehicle of our economy. Because it said, well, if you're earning over 50 grand a year, mate, you're going to have no disposable income now. Ha ha ha. Like, enjoy it.
What is the lifeblood of an economy? It is the circulation.
It's money. You need the money to go around.
It is the circulation of funds. Yeah. And if
anyone puts it in the mattress, it's not going to work.
Like, in a sense,
and also there are people in the chat saying the same thing. I've got friends going through this at the moment, where you are juggling what you do if one of your parents dies. Their house is the investment that the entire family is relying on at some point in time. You're willing your mum to die quickly afterwards, but also she then ends up in a home, right? If she then ends up needing care, then you need to release all of the money that's tied up in that house to pay for that care. The whole thing is, and the beautiful thing about that,
I think that's changed slightly. I think it's bar 300, the first 300,000.
Yeah, because Labour's
not
fixing some of these problems basically, which is good, and that's the credit Starmer's not getting for this stuff. I just wanted to wrap up on the idea of compensating house owners for their loss of future profits, right? Because then we can start calling all of them benefit scroungers for the next 30 years as well.
That'll be fun. Well, I think we should call pensioners benefit scroungers, especially if you're able to work but you choose not to because you're too lazy.
Shouldn't we start? Right,
that's it. I've done enough work now. I'm going to stop.
Shouldn't we start at the top and call that the monarchy?
Yes.
The biggest.
Under your prime ministership, there is no pensioners, though, because of Logan's Run policy.
Yeah, Logan's Run.
I do not endorse Logan's Run policies. I just want to be very, very clear.
And I was only joking.
If we continue down this route, then we're probably going to go to the Soylent Green policy pretty soon.
Yes. No, I would mix my Logan's Run with my Soylent Green and just loads of food for everyone. You get to your 30th birthday, you've had your chance. Go on, fuck off.
This is the problem. This is the problem with progressives like you, Alex. You haven't tried human meat, and yet you're against it. It's
that's what you think. Just because I've got this nice bright smile. I take you laugh, but
baby tastes
best.
A report.
I can't remember who the reporter was. It's really annoying, but I saw a report recently saying that they'd just gone out. There was a UK reporter or a US reporter gone out to Asia, I think Thailand, and they were like, they're just not planting anything. They've got no fertilizer, and the government hasn't stepped in. And I'll add an extra kicker to this: the EU have just offered grants to farmers of up to 50k because of the fertilizer and petrol costs. I haven't done shit here. They've got their head in the sand. I've got Norway's telling its citizens 3 weeks worth of food to be stored because they're concerned about it. And then most governments in Europe are going, probably best not to book a flight because we're running short on jet fuel. And I'm going, and over here, I've got mates telling me they're planning to fly off to fucking Finland in July. And I'm like having to go, you best not do that. And then I don't think they're going to run out
of jet fuel halfway through the flight, Alex. To be fair, I mean, they're not going to die.
But there is.
They might run out of fuel for the return journey.
Yeah, and be stuck in Finland.
And be stuck in
That's
Finland.
Not a bad place to be stuck, though, mate. It's lovely up there. They've got lots of lakes. Hey, listen, before we go on, Darian Destar. Darian Destar, thank you very much. You absolute legend, you. Enabling Dizzer's confetti addiction. That's all. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So that has triggered the confetti cannon. Here we go again. 3, 2, 1. Right. Confetti! Woo!
I'm only doing one arm as a protest. I'm sorry.
He's not being bought by
Mike's
big confetti.
You people are far too excitable.
Can I say one?
So bloody happy.
One good thing that did happen this weekend that gave me a bit of hope.
Go on.
Was it Bulgaria's entry into the Eurovision Song Contest, which is fucking brilliant, and it was called Bangaranga. I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says that, and I'm gonna go to Australia.
Bangaranga. I'm pretty sure that was slang for something in the 90s.
Yeah, well, if you're a ginger in Australia, they call you a ranga. You don't think Delta Goodrum was having a good little laugh about that?
I'm gonna have a think. No, it was the fact that fuck all turned up for Tommy Robinson's march.
That's true.
They did.
Yeah.
They said 1 million people turned up.
There was a photo that was being circulated, and it was like this huge street full of people. It's like, yeah, mate, that's Rio de Janeiro. It's carnival season.
Yeah.
I don't think there's too many palm trees in fucking London, mate. But crack on.
It was like trees in Clacton either, apparently. That came out
Alex
this week.
Alex, can you do an autograph and send it to Graham for Sarah Davis, please?
Yes.
We will sort that. You can send it straight to Sarah. I got her address.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go, guys. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, no. We're all going to have to go in a minute because it's past 10 o'clock. We've been yakking so much. Was there anything that anyone wanted to say about the mad shit that happened this week that we haven't even touched upon?
Yeah, it's all, it just largely because Ed is optimistic and Alex has found some optimism in the Tommy Robinson thing. I'd just like to add a line of probably get even shitter by next Sunday.
But optimistically, you're going to be really, really smug when that happens.
Yeah, I'll be all right. I'll just go, well, I got that right, didn't I, guys?
National Rejoin March, June 20th.
June 20th.
We need to get people to come to that.
You do?
Graham.
Okay.
Graham.
Okay.
Graham.
But I've already said I'll meet up with Aide and his patrons in Liverpool. And it's the day of Africa OEA. I wish you'd reminded me earlier. I feel bad now.
Can we get Peter Core on at some point?
Yeah, sure. It'd be good to get on. He's a good lad. Yeah. He's the fellow who runs the Rejoin March. March for Rejoin. But yeah, definitely. We'll get him back on. One news story that's sort of flown under the radar. There's a really shit director in Hollywood, a hack director called Brett Ratner. And he was one of the people who were outed during the Me Too movement as being a cunt. Anyway, he was the guy who directed the new Melania movie. Yes. Yeah. Which was panned universally by the critics. They should have called it Shitty Woman and done a true story about how a prostitute came over from Eastern Europe and fell in love with the most horrible man in the world. It's a fairy tale story. Anyway, he went with Trump and all those other knobheads to China. Tim Apple and Elon Musk. He went over to scout locations for Rush Hour 4. That happened this week. Yeah, Alex, your face says it all.
He
flew in Air Force One to go and scout fucking locations for 10th rate fucking prequel.
You realise that is literally the Epstein script. They used to go and scout locations and people in planes.
Really?
Around the world.
Is that what he said? Oh, man. I wanted that as a job. The new James Bond. Everyone's like, who's going to be the new James Bond? I don't give a fuck. I want to know who's going to be the location scout for the next James Bonds. I want that job. Be fucking awesome. Has Epstein ruined that as well? Oh, my God. Is there anything Epstein hasn't ruined? Private islands, tracksuits, massages, dentist chairs.
Alex has to go. But also, can I just make a point that Peter is doing a walk, isn't he? Wasn't that in the chat? I can't find it in the chat.
Yes, he is doing a walk.
Before the Rejoin March.
Yeah, to go all the way to Brussels. And he's meeting Guy Verhofstadt and other representatives, like high-level representatives at the EU Parliament.
Brilliant.
So yeah, man. Like, that's a big deal.
Cool.
Needs to be promoted as much as possible.
Cool.
Try and get him on next week because I think he's ending.
Cheerio, Alex.
Cheers,
Sweet
man.
dreams.
Nice to see you, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Bye.
Bye. Right, we should wrap it up there. Yep. We can say things about Alex now he's gone. I don't know about that. What was he talking about? He was talking about culling people. Jesus.
He wasn't talking about Doctor Who enough for my life.
Yeah,
he's no Marina, is he? Really?
Does he know
he's pretty.
What podcast he came on?
He's pretty, but I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
Have you ever seen Marina and Alex in the same room at the same time? There's a question for you.
No, that
Eh?
stick-on beard thing,
Yeah,
that
just-
always works.
Anyway.
I
Okay.
did not hear enough Doctor Who jokes. That's all I'm going to say.
Knock, knock. Who's
Knock,
there?
knock. Who?
Doctor Who.
He's Doctor
Yes.
K9. K9. Oh, sorry.
Right, friends, thank you for coming on the show tonight, Mike and Ed, and thank you everyone for watching and taking part in the chat. So I didn't get to read as many messages as I would have liked. It goes really quick. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes, and that just went like that for me. I don't know. That was kind of crazy.
Great.
It's like
Yeah,
being in a
love it.
time warp. But yeah,
Thank you, everyone in the chat. You've been on form tonight as well.
yeah, very funny and also very generous with the super chat. So thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with the Morning Brew show. And before we go though, can we just one little tiny request, right? Could we get a like? Could give us a thumb up before you go. Thank you. And also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you are, hit the bell notification icon so you know when to go live. And until we meet again, I'll say thanks very much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.